Hey, welcome to the live stream for Ring Ads. This is July 14th, 2020. Happy to be here. Couple of cool things to cover, but before we get started on that, I wanted to make sure, let's see, okay, audio's off, good. I want to paste in the Zoom link. So we always do a Zoom attached to our live streams, and that way, yeah, there's a Facebook Live, but at the same time there's a Zoom room that you can join into. So I'm going to paste that into the comments here, and I'm going to pin it to the top. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comment here. I'm going to pin that to the top, and at any time that you wish, you can come into the room and in the Zoom room, and you'll be on the live stream with me, and we can screen share, we can do all kinds of cool stuff, like talk about whatever it is that's going on in your business that you need help with. If it's ad campaigns, if it's client acquisition, if it's could be scaling, market research. There's so many different things and topics that we've covered in training and all that you should have questions on, and probably do. And if you do, then I want to be able to help you with that, and that's what these calls are all about. Don't get me wrong, for time to time updates are provided on these streams, training and everything, but here lately I've been on a kick of just helping people individually, because I feel like those that choose to step forward and get the help or receive the help, take it and do something with it. Not that everybody else doesn't, but let's say that everybody else looks to that as an example to follow, and that's exactly what we're looking for as a group, right? We want good examples to follow, and we also want action, productivity. So we're probably going to stick with this for a little while longer, and again, like I said, from time to time we will do training. That's not really a question, but these kinds of sessions I feel like are much more beneficial. Yesterday in the mentorship, which we do a call every Monday on the mentorship, right? It was a 4-hour call, almost a 4-hour call, and I'm not saying that to brag, because every call I do in there, whether it's an hour, sometimes actually the call before that I think may have been an hour, I can't remember, but they range, they vary, but usually the average is 2 to 3 hours on a call, and that's because I'm helping people individually. So anyway, just wanted to encourage you and let you know that the reason we're doing this here lately, the way we're doing it in terms of the hi everybody, I'll see you guys in the comments. The reason we're doing the format this way is to make sure that you get the help that you need more often, not less often. And I'm not saying that we'll be doing it this way forever, but we're going to mix it up, right? That's kind of the fun part. So that said, the Zoom link is at the top. It's pinned at the top. You can feel free to come in. You can also, if you're not comfortable coming on live or sharing your screen or asking questions that way, you can also ask in the comments section. I have no problem with that. More than happy to help you folks out with anything that you have questions-wise about the business, specifically about the business. You know what, I'm going to start with an announcement on Google Ads. So I made this announcement yesterday in the mentorship. I got an email yesterday from Google Ads, and they send me emails on updates and all that. This update affects people in Brazil. So you might be wondering why I'm talking about someone from Brazil, and or not someone from Brazil, but the policy changes from Brazil as it relates to Google Ads. And the thing is this: there seems to be a trend of not just countries, but entire like groups of countries, like coalitions almost, if you will. Like for example, the GDPR. That's an example of what this is. It's an internet privacy, data privacy actually, for the country of Brazil. And Brazil is a very large country, and there are some people that I have worked with in the past that ran campaigns in Brazil. So I felt it was important to make that announcement. And you can actually find that. Let me search for it here real quick in my email. There's a web address that they give us that you can go to take a look at. Here it is, Brazilian LGPD, protection of data. Okay, so privacy.google.com So privacy.google.com/businesses, plural. Privacy.google.com/businesses. Okay, that's where you're going to want to go to find that. All right. Let's see. We got Andy on the call. Hold on one second, Andy. Let me get my headset on here. Andy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I just got in from work. I'm pretty good, mate. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, mate, that's good. I haven't made it the last couple of calls because I've had my job has gone crazy busy. My day job, believe it or not, and I'm just finishing my market research tomorrow. I'm set up with Dollar Central, paid it all up. I've got Ring Ants Mirror. I've got every campaign loaded into AdWords. I did put a picture text in the group, and the only one I can't get to load is the tow truck one.
Okay. Okay.
It's doing my head in because I can't finish the campaign because I can't get it to load into AdWords.
Well, before we, I'll help you with that, but are you even using the tow truck campaign?
That's the one I'm going to be using. Yes, it's just
okay.
I don't know what I did.
Okay.
It's just like everything loaded by that one. I was like,
well, let's. You got it.
The annoying thing is, I've only just got in. Because of I had a Google AdWords account. I can't log in from this computer. I have to go into an old Windows machine, which would take me about 5 minutes to set it up or so because I haven't even got Zoom on it either. I forgot about that.
Okay. You said did you say you posted something?
I put it in. I put 3 photos in the group a couple of days ago.
Okay, let me go check the. Let me check the posts. Hold on.
How have you been doing, mate?
Busy, man. You know. Let me check the posts real quick and see. Maybe I can get you an answer. Can you pull up Editor?
No, it's on the other machine. I can't risk it because when I was doing affiliate marketing years ago, they gave me 2 bands for life, and if it links it again, my call only business is just finished again, and I had to set up a limited company to get that up and running and get a different IP and different machine, different bank details, everything. I could probably get it set up in about 5 or 10 minutes.
No, I'm asking. You said you had problems loading a campaign from the AdWords editor, right?
Yeah, so I got it into AdWords Editor.
Okay.
I put 3 photos in the. I don't know if you can see them.
I'm working on getting there. The net's a little bit slow while I'm live streaming. Of course it does that. There we go.
I've done some market research. I've had a few half decent conversations, but I've taken the whole day off tomorrow to do it. I'm just going to plough through it. And then I'm going to start prospecting on a Saturday and half a day on a Wednesday.
Can you pull up? Can you do me a favor? And first off, let's slow down a bit, okay? Let's talk about one thing at a time, so we make sure we get everything addressed. Second, Can you pull up AdWords Editor or not? That's what I need to know. On any machine right now.
Yeah, I can. I've only just.
That's what I want you to do.
Yeah, it'll take me. Hold on.
While you're doing that, I see your post. It's a pending post. Yep, I'm looking at it right now. So you've got errors with the campaign level, the ad group level. That's most likely daily budget not filled in and CPC budget not filled in. I can't tell because it's not a full screen image, but that's my best guess. Yeah, you took two photos that I can see here, and you take pictures of everything but what we need. So the good news is, that's okay. The good news is you took photos instead of screenshots. I would advise next time screenshots would be the best way to go, because you're gonna get the full screen when you do that, right? Or you can get
Windows machine that.
That's fine. Just listen to me. You can get the full screen, or not even the full screen, but just the full window of the Google AdWords editor, and that's what we, moving forward, in order to be able to help you faster, like, because right now, if I had a full screen, I was looking at it, I'd be able to tell you exactly what the issue is. If I have a best guess, and you're going to be able to, without even screen sharing, just log into your editor, because I know it well enough, I'll tell you where to look, and you'll be able to tell me if that's the problem or not. But there's only really, for red flags like that on the campaign level and the ad group levels, that's usually daily budget and the bid level for the ad groups. You probably just haven't set those yet. And it looks like you've got an error on your keywords as well, a red flag on your keywords down there. So that's probably the same thing. You just haven't set the bids for any of your keywords either for that particular campaign. Yep.
Okay. I got all the other ones loaded. They went up to the AdWords account. I don't know what I did wrong. Give me a minute, mate.
I think more than anything, it's not about what you did wrong, more than about what we do to fix it. That's it.
Yeah. But after this little bit, I'm going to be prospecting. I'm trying to sort of get in 2 4-hour sessions a week. I've even, I say, taken a day off tomorrow.
2 4-hour sessions a week. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
If I can land a couple of clients, and so I'm trying to talk to you and get this Windows machine set up, and it's really old.
That's okay. I mean, I can always go to the comments for a little bit and let you work on that. But one thing, I do. But one thing I want to make very clear is where you're at right now. I think it's super important we talk about that for just a minute. But you know what? Let's focus on one thing at a time. Get your computer up. Let me make a note here so that I don't forget. Andy, and then it's going to be client next steps. That'll remind me, so that way when we get this sorted for the campaign side, then I'll be able to come in and tell you about your next steps and what to expect and how to push through it. Okay, because I'll give you the story later too, but just know it's important, super important. Probably, like, if you want, do you want clients? I'm assuming you do.
Yes, mate.
Okay. Well, okay. This is by far probably the most important conversation we will have. The AdWords editor stuff, that's a couple of small fixes, dude, and it's most likely setting the bids on the daily budget for the campaign and setting the max CPC bids for the ad groups. From what I'm seeing on the red flags, I can't see the rest of the screen, so I can't see that right hand side, but that's where you would find the errors, right?
Right.
And you just plug in some data and then you'll be good.
I mean, that's it. I've got all your data and plus my own. Right, I've just got AdWords editors.
You just got in. Okay. So pull up the campaign. Just click on the campaign only. So towing ring ads, right?
It comes up and I've got the little red dots everywhere.
Yeah. Now, don't worry about all of them. You got to look at it as, okay, on the left-hand side, if you've highlighted towing ring ads, right?
Yep.
Okay. You notice how there's a red flag at that level. That's the campaign level. Yeah. That's the name of the campaign, right? The level below that with roadside assistance, towing general, all that, right? Those are ad groups. Makes sense, right? It's a step below. It's kind of stepped in, right? Indented, whatever. Those also have flags, meaning those have errors. Now, all you have to do is, if you're selected onto towing ring ads, look over on the far right-hand side of your screen. You see that column that's going straight down?
Yep.
Okay. Look at daily budget.
Daily budget set at £50.
£50. What does the error say at the bottom of your, not at the very bottom of the screen, but towards the bottom of the screen in the middle? There should be a red flag. It should say something.
It says removed campaigns can't be edited. Show violations, and then it comes up with 6. And I swear, man, honestly, I don't know. I'm a complete loss of this thing.
Okay, but you can read the errors, right?
Right, it says your campaign is using manual bidding. usually fully automated. So that one's ignore, isn't it? I keep doing ignore on these.
Yeah, ignores the yellow. That's not the red flag.
Now it's just gone. Hold on. Oh, mate, hold on. Sorry. Right, so roadside assistance and towing general are all red. Okay.
No, I want you. No, no. I only want you to select towing ring ads. Forget about the ad groups for a second.
Okay.
And over towing ring ads, the campaign level. Now look over to the right and tell me where the red is.
Now when I go onto the towing ring ads on the very far right column, it's now not showing any.
Because you were selected on something else. That's my point. So you have to make this is super important, folks. Listen up, because I know you can't really see a screen, and you're like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Here's the deal, guys, and this is for everybody. The AdWords editor is very specific. So if you got 25, 26, whatever, how many ever campaigns, and you happen to be highlighted on like another campaign, you're going to see that data in that column I was just talking about, not the data you think you're looking at. So towing ring ads, make sure that's selected on the left-hand side, the campaign level, at the campaign level. Then look over on the right-hand side with the column, and you should see a daily budget that should be empty, right?
And when I click on that bit, I don't know what I've done here. Right, so towing ring ads, the far right now there's no red, and it's showing campaign type, search and shopping, status, edited, removed.
What's your daily budget? That's the most common error. What's your daily budget?
Well, when I was on it before, God, I'm a mess with this, mate. So I've had a very long day. I've only just got in.
That's okay, Andrew. Listen to me. Just listen. Just all you have to do is listen and look for what I'm telling. I'm giving you the answers here, bud.
Okay. Sure.
Click on towing on the left-hand side for the campaign. Look on the right-hand side and look for the words daily budget.
So and then I can click at the bottom into campaigns 1. Is that it?
Andrew,
sorry.
Listen to me. Select towing ring ads at the campaign level. Okay? Make sure it's highlighted, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then underneath it.
No, I didn't say underneath. I never use the words underneath. Listen to what I'm saying. Please. For everyone's sake and yours. Look. Use your eyes. Look to the right side of your screen. Okay? Actually, it would be this side if I'm on the camera. Look for the words. All I want you to do is not click anything. I want you to look for the words. Daily budget.
On this screen, I'm not seeing it. It was there a minute ago. I must have clicked something else by mistake.
Then you're not at the campaign level on the left-hand side.
Then it just comes. All right. Okay. Now I am. I've got roadside assistance, and I see campaign pause, daily budget £50.
Okay. Roadside assistance is an ad group, not a campaign level. That's not the campaign level.
I don't know. Well.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Since you have AdWords Editor up on the new computer, can you log into? Well, actually, hold on. It's an easy way for me to get you the. Here's what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna get you the link? How am I gonna get you the link for the Zoom? Can you log into Facebook from your new computer?
Why don't you have this chat here, and I'll get Zoom on this computer. I've literally just walked through the door.
Zoom's going to be very quick. It's going to be very, very quick. It's not going to take long.
Yeah. I haven't got it on this machine now. That's the thing. Hold on. Why don't you help that guy there while I do this? Save wasting your time.
No, you're not wasting my time. I just want to make sure we get it right. But it's very clear we're going to need to have the visual assistance here because you're not following what I'm laying down. So it's fine. We just got to get you on Zoom and get you a screen share.
Emailing myself the other machine.
That's not a bad idea. That'd be a good way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. While you're doing that, I've got looks like I've got Brandon on. I'm gonna take his questions and then come back to you. Okay.
Okay. No problem, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. Unmute yourself, Brandon. There you go.
What up? Can you hear me?
I can. What's going on, bud?
Not much, man. Not much. I have a few questions. I haven't gotten a client yet, but I'm doing what the one time you said a client or something like that, where you like
Defiant.
you're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
giving,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Just I just wanted to get comfortable with like setting somebody up, so I'm not like running around with a chicken with my head cut off trying to set up a campaign. I'm screwing shit up. So,
Okay.
um, so basically, I completely followed everything I think to a T on your COVID challenge. I just stuck with appliance repair to learn the ropes and keep things simple for myself. And
Good.
so I kind of ran into some questions as far as getting the campaign set up on the ring ad side,
That will
and
happen.
then huh?
That will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So shoot. What
Couple
you got?
quick. Okay, let me. I'm not very good at using Zoom here. Let me like try to juggle these windows I got open here. Let me bounce over here. Okay, maybe I'll just start with the ring ad side of things. So I didn't fully set up the campaign on the ring ad side because I can't seem to figure. I think when I originally was doing the API to link ring ads with my Google AdWords account, I think I
Right.
was using a different Google AdWords originally.
Okay.
So I got it. I got the Google AdWords side of my account that I'm going to always be using. I got that squared away. Now I just need to figure out how to connect the API with the ring ads.
The API, yeah, the API is a very, very specific set of processes and steps. This is, I say this all the time, but I'm going to say it again. It's not, the training video is not ready yet. It's not ready yet. When I have it, I will drop it, and you'll understand everything step by step. There's a very specific process to setting all that up, and even if you have the API already for Google Ads, which requires a lot of information, including documentation that I have to provide to you. And if you don't have that, then your API is at risk of being shut down. So if you're telling me you already, if you're telling me you already have your API, see, jumping ahead. This is what jumping ahead gets. Not that
I don't. Maybe I'm not using the right lingo. I was just trying to, because like when I go to make a campaign on the ring ad side, for the
Right.
company that I already started,
Right.
and then you go to campaigns and you start. It says at the bottom here. Let me go in here.
You're talking
It
about the
says
campaign settings screen. Turn on the Google Ads API, right?
No, it says at the bottom here, associate Google ad campaign, and there's a drop-down box.
That's correct. Yeah, and if you don't have your Google Ads API connected yet in the API settings, ignore it. You got it. You got it. Yeah. And here's the thing, folks. This is one of those things where I'll explain why in a second, but the campaigns work just fine without the API. The API gives you access to all the cool stuff that you're going to be able to do with the Google Ads API, that some of which you don't know about, one of which you do, which is the campaign suspension, right? That's why you're interested in it. I totally get it. Here's the rub. Here's the tricky part for us is we have to provide you with documentation, and documentation is not as simple as like a couple of sheets. It's like a whole bunch of code and access points that Google's is going to require from you to know how you intend to use the API, basically. That's what that's for. And then there's a whole questionnaire, which looks like it was made in 1996, by the way, like the old Google Ads format. It's crazy, but because they still haven't updated it, but it's literally a survey asking you all these very, very specific questions. And if you don't have the right answers, you run the risk of a lot of things happening, either no approval or and here's the thing, like some people are starting out, they don't have any ad spend on an account, right? Like they've never spent money on Google Ads before, right? Google actually sees that initially as a red flag. They're like, well, why do you need the API? So when you have to be able to respond to that. So there's like this whole like and respond truthfully and all that. So like all these different responses and like spider web of possibilities has to be kind of addressed and handled. So it's like, okay, if you get it not denied, but if they don't approve you right away, they're going to send you an email and it's going to look like this. And then so all that has to be put together and explained what that is, why not to freak out, and then here's what to write back, right? And here's how you yeah. So there's a lot that goes into that. On top of that, like I actually covered helping someone apply for their API, and because once you do it, it's like doing it again. So I had someone that didn't have an API account yet, or API yet for Google Ads. We went in, we did the. Oh, there we go. We went in, we did the application, and the process was very difficult. It wasn't the easiest, and so a lot of that's having to be edited out because some people follow directions very, very well. Some people are like very robotic, and that's great in those times. And then other people click on stuff. What's this? What's that? Before you get the chance to tell them, hey, you should have clicked on this 2 steps back, kind of a thing. Yeah, and it happens. It's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, when you're trying to create a training video, now you got to go in and edit all that shit out, and then edit over the take out all the voices and then do a voiceover to your own training video. So there's a lot. Yeah, that's why it's taken me forever to get done, because it's very specific. That's the only thing I can tell you. I can tell you this though, it's totally worth it, because what you don't know, and I'll let you guys in on a little secret. The Google Ads API allows for very specific reporting, such as knowing exactly what keyword drove the conversion directly inside of Ring Ads. So it's like you're going to be able to look inside of Ring Ads and be like, oh, and just know instantly that phone call came from that keyword, trace it back instantly to Google Ads, and do what you need to do. See what I'm saying? So there's a lot that's going to, and that's just one extra feature. There's tons of others that come from the reporting and stuff, but just know that it's on the way. I got you, my man. It's at the top of my list, actually. That and working. Gosh, there's so many things. But the ones off the top of my head are the Google Ads API updated training. There's being able to port in numbers. We're working on that. Someone was asking about that. I got to go and find that and answer that. We're working on because we don't have the ability to port numbers in. We don't do that. And it was mainly because of security concerns, excuse me. But we figured a way to address that inside of our terms and agreements. As long as you guys accept those terms and agreements, then there's no liability responsibility on us. There's none on you, and then there's none on your client. And it makes it on an individual basis to where, like, if you do something not good, it's not going to affect the rest of Ring Ads, or it's not going to affect us as a company at Ring Ads. It's not going to affect any of the you see what I'm saying? It's only limited to you. So that's something we're working on. We're working on the so many small things, like we have a white label, but the favicon and the site title, right? Just as an example. Yeah, it's small stuff that doesn't really matter, but at the same time, people ask about it, and it's like I can't ignore that. I'm gonna update that, but yeah. So we're working on that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, thanks for answering that. So I can totally just move forward with the campaign on the Ring Ad side and ignore that aspect of it.
As long as it's turned off. As long as it's turned off.
Let me look here. Turn off. Oh, okay, yeah, yep.
You're golden.
Automated. Can I just share my screen? Probably
sure,
like
sure, yeah.
I suck at explaining stuff. So
that's fine.
It's like, right, here, I got like 2 screens up here. Where are we at? Okay, share screen. Let me know if you end up seeing, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
I am looking at Ring Ads.
Okay, but all right, cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm on like I was starting to set the campaign for this appliance repair company.
Okay.
In my town. I didn't put this number in yet. I got to do that.
I got you.
That rings through. Let me minimize. I got like me and you over here. There we go.
It's like
got like all this stuff. So the one thing, and I'm sure you've answered some of these, man. And
that's okay, man. Just ask away.
I rewatched. Okay, cool. So the charge for repeat calls, I do know you say you leave the duration at 0.
Yep.
For repeat calls, do you always keep that off?
Yeah, because you don't want to charge your client for repeat calls.
Okay, I didn't know if because if the customer called and they didn't answer, and then they try to call back again, like, are you charging? Because I think there is an option down here somewhere. It says like,
if it doesn't connect, it doesn't count as a call. There's no recording. There's no nothing. So it actually doesn't show like that.
So if they miss the call and they don't answer, you don't charge them for that?
Mm-mm. Okay. There's an option for that down there on the bottom right. Where are you at? Mr. Busy Call Setting right there. Nope, you just scroll past it. Right hand side. There you go.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
you can choose to bill the client, not bill the client, but alert them. That whole thing.
Okay. So I'll probably set it at that. Do you alert them just so they know like we're sending?
I always alert my client whenever there's a call.
Okay.
I like to set up my notifications for all calls via email and via phone or text.
Okay.
I also send them alerts on Mr. Busy Calls, but I don't bill those. What I do is I look for a bunch of those, and if I keep seeing a crap ton of those, I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna call my client up and say, hey, why are you missing the call? Why are you missing all these calls?
Yeah, because they're paying for that, right?
Correct.
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 Right, because the call, it doesn't matter if they answer or not, we're still paying for the call.
Right. Now, some people are of the mind, you know what, every call that comes in, I'm going to bill it until, guilty until proven innocent, billed until proven unqualified, kind of, if you think of it like that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's some people's mindset. And I'm not saying that's a bad way to go. I'm just saying it's a different way to go. And totally acceptable either way.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yep.
moving on here. I do remember reading somewhere in the group, somebody said something about we have to have, for the caller, not the client, the caller side, there has to be a message saying
Three sentences to save your life. Here you go. You ready? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, we're recording this anyway, so you can always come back to this. But
Right.
This is important enough for you to write down at some point for sure.
Okay.
Here it is. Thank you for calling XYZ Company. Okay? It's always you're gonna replace that placeholder of a company with whatever company name that your client did. Okay. Thank you for calling XYZ Company. Your call may be recorded for quality assurance. Please hold while we transfer your call.
Perfect.
So that covers you. That covers you for Google's policy with the first sentence by stating the name to the caller. That's one of the requirements for running a call-only ad in Google now. It's a newer requirement, but that's one of them. The second sentence is to cover your ass on recording the calls. And the third one is to thank them for being patient while the call is connected. So 3 sentences, and you can type that out in the text-to-speech, or you can add an MP3 file of you saying that. Now,
Right here, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now, the call whisper to the client, that's the recording. That's a recording and or message that will never change. So here's the deal. If you're not a big fan of recording MP3s, I can tell you that. Well, I know. Okay, I'm talking to everybody too, though. So here's the thing with MP3s and text to speech. Text to speech. If you're pressed for time, or you just don't want to start out that way, or maybe you're just not comfortable recording your own voice or something, you can do the text to speech. It will perform not as well as an MP3 with an actual voice, and it doesn't have to be some kind of a radio voice. Some people say I've got a face for radio, right? Like. I get that. I've got a radio voice, but I really don't because I'm untrained. I haven't been to radio school or anything. I don't, broadcast school. I don't know anything about all that stuff. All I can tell you is that MP3s with an actual human sound or human sounding voice, because people can still tell the difference almost pretty much with most every AI text to speech out there, at least for to date. And so here's the thing. The MP3 for the client, right? That's the call message for the client, the MP3 that you would make for that can stay the same. And one of the messages, hold on, let me find it. I wrote it down. I got this from Dale actually, which I thought was pretty cool because you can always say another great call from, ABC agency, right? So not your company name, not
right.
Okay, and then. I liked what Dale came up with, which was something similar, but he added, "Please greet the caller, connecting live now" at the end of that. So it was for the client when they pick up the phone, it's another phone call from ABC agency. Please greet the caller, connecting live now, and then it connects. It's like, oh shit, that cool. It lays it up for them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the easiest way to transition further. So the client, and that came from Dale, by the way. That's credit to Dale Finney there, and that's Styler
Thanks,
Central.
Dale.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. So I stole that from him. Don't tell him. He's fine with it. So yeah, please greet the caller connecting live now at the end, and then saying another call, another great call, another qualified call, whatever you want to say at the beginning from your agency. That gives you a little bit more branding and also brand recognition for the good calls that they get. They're going to remember those good calls that they get because they hear your name all the time, right? And they know that some of those calls were good, even if they didn't keep track. They know that some of them were good.
Now, there's no lag as far as the transition from when the client is hearing the call whisper to the potential customer.
No. So here's how it'll work. The message will play for the caller, right? For the consumer, right? Okay. And then it'll start to ring the phone of the client. Now, while they're hearing the ring, the client picks up the phone. The caller's still hearing the ring. Okay. The client hears their message, and then it connects from the ring as an answer.
Oh wow!
Does that make sense? It's like a kind of a flow to it. So that's how that works, and that's why connecting live now, saying that to your client, is actually going to be very helpful for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that's all about. That's why I say MP3s and there's free MP3 recording apps all over Google. Just run a Google search for those of you out there who haven't done that before.
Yeah, there's actually, if I can give a plug, and
sure.
It's free, is Audacity.
Oh yeah. See, I used to use it, but fucking Mac, man. Mac totally screwed
they don't
me.
Have Mac, do they?
Well, they did, but then they did that. What do you call it? Catalina update. Totally fucked me up on everything that I used to do with Audacity. And I'm like, I used to be an Audacity pro, and now I don't even. Maybe they updated it. I haven't checked in a while. I just got so pissed because
Audacity is legit, man. For it being free, like it's creates some really nice sounding MP3s.
You got the clipping. You got all kinds of cool stuff you can do. Yep. Multiple tracks.
There's so many YouTube videos too to help. If you're stuck or whatever.
See,
everybody's made training videos on it.
Mac OS 10.15 Catalina does not support Audacity. Shit,
That's
man.
Crazy.
I gotta find somebody's figured it out by now, surely, because it's been a while since that came up. It obviously it irks me. You can tell because
oh yeah,
that was such a good program. But Audacity's free. You're right. It's a downloadable program, but there's some that are free online that you don't even have to download stuff. You can record an MP3. Yeah, it's cloud-based. Record an MP3, download the file. How cool is that?
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not Audacity cool, right? For all you tech geeks like me and obviously Brandon, it's not that cool, but it is cool enough to get the job done. You know what I mean? And that's all that really matters. Just get the MP3s. Now, the other thing I was going to say about the MP3s before we move on here is on the caller side, if you do an MP3, that means every new client you have, you're going to have to make a new MP3. Or you could do what I do, which is what you would probably easily do in Audacity, is edit out the company name, say the company name, and make a master file of it, if you will. So that way, every time you get a new client, it's the exact same recording. The only difference is the company name, and that's it. I mean, I
use Camtasia for
Camtasia works. I use Camtasia as well. So that's funny. We use a lot of the same tools. Of course, everybody uses a lot of the same tools, but Camtasia's. I'm a Mac user, so most people that use Mac don't use Camtasia, I would say.
I used to use Mac, and I switched back over to PC.
Did you really?
So, yeah. I'm probably just going to get another Mac just for specific stuff that's perfect for Mac, and then because I like doing gaming too on the side sometimes.
So I use a Mac. I have an iPad. I love Mac as a workhorse, but for the phone, I have an Android. I don't do iPhones, man. I haven't done an iPhone since 3GS. Okay. I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it.
I'm like the opposite.
Really? You use iPhone?
Yeah. I used to be an Android guy, and then I switched to iPhone, and then I don't know, man.
You know what it is for me is maybe it's because I'm a marketing geek. I look at I see a lot of things that other people are like, oh, I never really realized that. The App Store or even in iTunes, like the way they run those business models, I feel like as an Apple user for the phone specifically, I feel nickeled and dimed to death.
Right.
I have even if it's not true, it's almost like they just don't care about that image and they nickel and dime you. But in Android, I mean, shit, man, practically everything's free,
Right.
And or if it's a paid app, it's a one-time paid, you're in, excluding games. Games are in-app purchase. I get that. But I'm talking functional apps, and some of the best functional apps I've ever had in my life came from an Android. And some of the most difficult apps to find for the same type of functionality out of my Android are the most difficult to find are in an iPhone because people just haven't developed it. And I'm like, man, that sucks. I'm never going to iPhone, And I had considered it. I had. Because, I made the move to Mac and everything, and
they've gotten a little better.
Have they?
A little bit better.
A little bit?
Still, yeah, but it's still, and that area, like you're talking about now.
Okay.
It is better. I will tell you that.
I'll keep my eye on it. Anyway, caller message.
Right.
You get the idea. You can edit the files.
Totally, man.
Okay.
Totally understand that now. As far as you said at the bottom to turn off the campaign
suspension
thing,
over there. Yep.
So that's what that is.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, just turn that off and you're
right.
golden. So if you save that with the number, by the way, every time you add in a phone number from Twilio, it auto saves the draft of this campaign. So like you have a tracking number in there right now. This campaign would save as a draft even if you didn't save it. So and I'm just throwing that out there for everybody.
Yeah, actually, because when I went to cancel, I noticed it was
Yep.
still there.
See draft status. Yep, there it is.
Please, guys, do not call this person and like.
No, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, man, I want to come over really quick if I could take up a little bit more of your time.
Sure, go for it.
I don't know if this is helping people. So the campaign side of things, I tried following you as best I could on your the 24 hours or less or whatever the heck it was.
Yes.
So
pay-per call agency success in 24 hours or less.
Thank you for making that, by the way. Very helpful.
Not a bad guide.
So as you can,
Not a bad guide. Needs some updating, but not a bad guide.
It was giving me something to work with. So anyways, as you see it, I paused the ads like you had said at one part of the video. Go ahead and set up the first ad group and pause the ads. So obviously doing appliance repair here. As far as the ad groups, well, actually I had some questions. Let me stay on topic here.
Sure.
So okay, so when you set up the client, as we can see here, what's that? Maganster? Appliance repair. So that's a campaign on a campaign level, and anytime I get a new client, that's as a campaign, not as ad groups under like
you got it.
Appliance repair.
New client, new campaign.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then the winning keywords, let's say it's in the fridge aspect of keywords.
Sure.
Any winning keywords, will I just make a winning keyword ad group for the fridge?
No.
Or is it all winning keywords in one
each winning keyword gets its own ad group.
Okay.
You get 100. Yeah, you get 100 converting keywords. You're going to have 100 plus ad groups.
Holy shit! So how can we? Well, I mean, obviously it's going to be in that individual campaign, but like, how do you keep organized with that, or does it not get that? Well,
once you, it's not insane. Okay, so here's the deal. When you think of it like this. Russia and the gymnastics, not to talk trash about anybody, but I'm just trying to give you some perspective here. With a campaign, Russia and gymnastics, what they would do is they would take all of the, how they got really good at it, and we followed suit, by the way. They rounded up all the children, and I mean children, like 4, 5, 6, something like that, and put them all into a room, and they would test them to see who was more inclined to gymnastics, right? And then they would basically limit down those groups, and the ones that obviously had the most potential to become world champion athletes, right? Olympians rather, they would spend the most time with. They were special, right? That was their whole goal. So if you look at, and I'm not going into any more detail than that because the gymnastics world is crazy, but if you look at your keywords, right? You've got a group of keywords. You're not throwing everything against the wall necessarily, but you're pulling the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds here, right? You're pulling the best keywords you got, and then you're finding the ones that are special based on what converts, right? Now, when you have a converting keyword, you treat it special. You take it from 4, 5, 6 years old to into the late teens, early 20s, right, in a gymnastics career. Same thing here, except without gymnastics. It's you take that keyword and you put it in its own ad group. You give it the different versions, the phrase and exact, the broad and or broad match modified, that whole thing. That all happens inside of one ad group for one keyword. And whatever bid that keyword converted at, you leave it at.
And you remove it from the it originally was in.
Correct. That's it. That's all you do.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
So as far as maintenance or on that level, more of your time maintenance wise on a campaign is going to be spent on negative keywords and new keyword ideas. More of your time is going to be spent there, like probably 50-60% of your time. 20% or so is going to be spent on new keywords, or not new keywords, converting keywords, the winning keywords, right? And getting those into their own ad groups and all that stuff. The other 20% of your time is going to be evaluating things like can you up the daily budget, what keywords are producing the most, like establishing patterns based on your advanced data, dimensions data, things like that. Very specific activities, but not very much work. To do a bid adjustment's a couple of clicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, most of your work's going to be on optimizing the campaign. So between ad copy, which is obviously up there, to negative keywords, new keyword ideas. That's where you're going to spend most of your time. Split testing, ad copy, new keyword ideas, negative keywords. Okay.
So for example, this appliance repair, the refrigerator ad group, I want just refrigerator-based keywords, whether it's brand specific or just refrigerator repair near me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I want to do that with other ad groups for that particular, stove, and then washer, dryer, same thing.
Yeah. With appliance repair, what I do is I keep it higher level in terms of. So I don't narrow or pin myself in on any one, because you could, let's look at it this way. You could take a campaign from appliance repair and totally segment to no end. You could go refrigerator and then brand of refrigerator, then model of refrigerator, or series of refrigerator, then models of refrigerators, right?
As ad groups?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you could go that far in a tree, not necessarily in a campaign level, but you could go that far in the tree, right? What I want you to do is focus more on, because remember, the data is going to come to you, and Google's going to give you the answers to the test. They're going to tell you, hey, man, most people are buying LGs.
Right.
Because the data is telling you that. So, and if all you do is put your focus on the winner, think of it like whack-a-mole. You ever play that game at Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep. So I'm not the only one. So whack-a-mole, whenever the mole pops up, that's what you whack, right? You just whack him back down. That's the object of the game. Now, as the game goes on, you know this probably as well as I do. They give you two mallets, right? Two little padded mallets, right? Why do they do that?
Because they start popping up like crazy.
They start popping up like crazy, and that's kind of the point. Is you get one mole here, one mole there, and then next thing you know, they're popping up everywhere, and you've got to. The object is just to focus on connecting with them, okay? And that's all we're focused here on is connecting with what the data shows. Now, over time, what that produces, right? And think of it this way: not just over time, but also over the amount of data, not just amount of time, but amount of data. So think about this for a second. What if you had one client for 100 days or 100 clients for 1 day? Your data levels are going to be about the same, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But faster 1 day.
Exactly. 100 clients, a lot more data, a lot faster. So now that's one of the reasons why I talk about
the blitz.
Yes. I can't stress enough. I'm not saying that it all depends on whether you get clients or not. I'm saying life becomes a lot easier, a lot faster
Right.
because of it. If that, because your data set comes in faster, you're able to whack a lot more moles a lot faster instead of ding, ding. That's the rest of your life. That's going to suck and your client's not going to feel very good out of the gate because they're not going to be able to get a super dialed in campaign. So it's kind of like all or nothing,
Right. So you're saying like basically because of the blitz, the keywords, the winning keywords is what we're looking for. Those will work across the board, even though they're in a different area.
Most of them. Most of them will. Yeah. You'll find some exceptions. Like, I was teaching somebody once, and they were building out a campaign for a client, and they came across a search term and a call recording where he was from Canada, so he didn't really know how we speak in the South, and no fault to him, right? Like he's a great dude, but he just didn't know, right? That he didn't know. So he said, "Hey man, what's a commode?" And I said, "A commode," and I said, "What vertical are you in?" He had to remind me. He's like, "I'm in plumbing." I said, "Oh, you mean commode?" Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, that's it. That's the word." And I started laughing, of course, because that's freaking hilarious, right? So I explained to him. I said, "God bless you. Bless your heart. You're from Canada, right? You're from Vancouver. We dumbasses here. That's what we call a toilet. We also call it a John, right?
John, yep.
Yeah. Sometimes we call it a John. And the thing is, like, I want you to, and I told him, I want you to go and look up all the different slang words for, for toilet. And he came up with, I kid you not, he was driving some calls from keywords like shitter.
Wow.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that that's going to be the case every time. Now,
everywhere, yeah,
exactly, because the word commode, the word John, the word shitter. Do you think Californians, and nothing against Californians, but do you think Californians really say that? Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. And that's funny because I'm just a big old redneck kind of living in Las Vegas. I'm from Birmingham. I'm from Birmingham.
Oh, okay, Alabama. I'll say you have an Alabama accent.
I do, right? And that's the thing. I live in hold on. I live in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
I live in Las Vegas, but I'm a Bama fan, man. I grew up Crimson in my blood, right? Like this is me, and I don't wear a hat usually on calls, but you brought it out of me. So the point is, Californians don't speak that way, and that's totally okay. I'm not judging. I'm making a point on a marketing level. Like, Californians say toilet, okay?
Right.
That's what they say, and they usually say it with much less of an accent than that. We say all kinds of things. I had a friend that looked at me crossways once when we went out shopping for groceries. I don't know, for a party or something. I said, "Yeah, I'll get the buggy." They looked at me like I had grown, 3 arms. I was like, "What?" And they were laughing, and they said, "That's what you call that?" And I said, "Cart, grocery cart, buggy, what?" Like it was no big deal to me, but to them, they looked at me like my IQ dropped to Forrest Gump level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's one of the things about I told you about. About the different accents, right?
Yep.
Okay, so English accent, most trusted in the world, unanimously, because Queen's English sounds like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't, right?
Yep.
Southern accent, second most trusted accent in the world, because it sounds like you don't know jack shit, couldn't pull a lie over to save your life, right? And also because there's, culture is that people in the South are more trustworthy based on chivalry and all that, which is kind of true, kind of not true these days. It's kind of, yeah. So anyway, okay, campaign-wise, you could segment. Here's the point: you could segment all the way down. What we're looking for is a much higher level. So we want appliance repair, and then we want the types of appliances. So like the major types of appliances would be the refrigerator, the oven, the stove, or oven stove, the dishwasher, the washer dryer, things like that, right? And those are as ad groups, right? That's our like major, that's our major segmentation. And then from there we focus on anything that's high intent, right? We're looking keyword wise, high intent, that's refrigerator related, right?
in that ad group.
Yeah, right, and that's
so
why
I'm gonna
we
probably have to go back in this ad group and take out a few general keywords because there was like
the general
appliance
goes into
repair.
a general keyword ad group. I have it. That's why I have a general ad group. So I do a general ad group just for those. Someone looking for an appliance repair company, they already know they need an
Near
appliance.
me or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And it doesn't say
Okay.
refrigerator, it doesn't say stove
Okay.
or a brand name or anything. Yeah, you got it. So
Glad I
there's
asked you that because
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna go in and fix that.
Yeah, there's a good general category, and then all the major appliances. And usually, what I do is specific to this vertical is the higher end appliances. I'll tend to put those together because there's so few keywords for that make a ton of money for Viking and Meal and Sub-Zero and all those. I'll put those together in like my high end, my top tier, and I'll usually, instead of making that an ad group, make that a second campaign. So what I'll end up doing is I'll run 2 campaigns for a client in appliance repair, and this is if they service the high end stuff. One campaign will be for everything else, right? So all the LGs and Samsungs and all that.
Yeah.
And then in the high end, that's a separate campaign in Ring Ads, separate ad campaign altogether with its own ad group. And by all rights, you could in that campaign segment out by brand: Sub-Zero, Viking, Meal, Wolf, all that kind of stuff.
As ad groups itself.
As ad groups, you could do that.
Okay.
I just choose not to because it's so few. Now, if there were like 50 keywords a piece or something, then yeah, I would break it up. But
Oh, you're saying as far as keywords go, there's so few of them.
correct.
That people are actually okay. I see
Right.
what you mean.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, not everybody has a Sub-Zero.
Right.
In fact,
right.
It's probably, I don't know, 10%, and I'm guesstimating. It's not very many houses that have that. And then on top of that, the ones that have it, how many breakdowns do they have? Like, they're high-end brands for a reason,
Yeah.
and they're machines,
rare.
and they do break, but it's not as often as,
LG.
LG or Samsung, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of those things. And again, that's for a client that does work on the higher end stuff. Just kind of a vertical specific info there, but for you, but for everybody else, there in a lot of cases, in a lot of different verticals, there are different tiers. There are premium offers. There are not offers, but types of calls that you can sell. HVAC would be repair versus install, right? And install is going to be worth way more money to them than a repair call. Now, a repair call can turn into an install for them and be worth money, but someone who knows they need that their AC has gone to shit, they know it. That's a money call, right, for you.
Right. And
why would you not charge different prices? Tiered pricing is what I call it. And HVAC is not the only one. The appliance repair is not the only one. There's lots of verticals that have that. Not all of them, but that's where market research comes in handy. Finding that stuff. Yeah.
So last question, William, and I'll let you go, man. I appreciate all your help in answering all those questions.
Sure.
I have way more clarity now.
Good.
And so as far as population size, my city's only 100,000, and I really wasn't focusing on just this company to think this is going to be my winner. I was just trying to get used to setting things up,
right,
and just start getting the ball rolling.
That's the objective, of the client. Yeah.
So I just want to get started landing clients and stuff. So as far as population size, my city's 100,000. What would you recommend to focus on? Because I literally made a gargantuan list of all the states and cities that are actually still kind of opening back up and stuff due to COVID, and I'm just trying to figure out who I should really, city-wise and population size, to get calls coming in and get data bought, what you would go after.
Anything over, ideally starting out brand new, no clients, start with cities that have 500,000 or more.
Holy cow! Okay.
Yeah, 500,000 or more in population, and that's a general rule of thumb. You could probably get away with 250,000 or more, but the idea is the bigger the population, short of going to major cities like LA or something, bigger cities that are 500,000 and up are going to have people that are out and about anyway. And appliance repair is one of those things where it does not matter if people are out and about. They got to have the oven fixed. They got to have the fridge fixed. They got to have the washer dryer fixed because everybody's stuck at home right now. So, or they're out and about and their shit still breaks down. It doesn't matter. Like it's a short of us nuking each other to death and nuclear holocaust or some kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like some kind of Armageddon scenario. When shit breaks like this, they're going to need it fixed, and that's
Families
one of those.
In the house, they got to cook some food. And
Yeah,
oven ain't working, fridge ain't working.
That's exactly right.
Spoiling.
That's right. So yeah, I would say start with $500,000 up. That's going to be a much bigger, let's say, much greater security for you in terms of having the numbers to hit the clients, getting the data, especially for your clients as well, not just getting the clients, and then. Obviously, you can expand out to that, but I wouldn't venture past $250,000 in population for, I don't know, a few dozen clients. And if after a few months,
my goal is 17 clients to hit the numbers I want to hit before the end of the year. I want to get to 17 clients. That's what I figured out.
Okay.
So driving calls, $25 per call, 60 calls is what I would like to drive for each client.
How much time do you have to put into the business? And I'm just asking so I can kind of help you run the numbers here.
Honestly, since I work third shift, I'm a local truck driver. I go into work. I'm Central Time. I'm out like 2.5 hours from Chicago. So I get home like 8:30 in the morning. The days I don't have my son, I'm wide open, man. So I could probably work 4 hours a day when I don't have my kid.
Wow.
Pick him up.
Okay. And is that 5 days a week roughly?
Probably 3. Well, if I count Saturday, it would be 5. If I don't count Saturday, 4.
Okay, so 4 days a week is plenty. So give you your Saturday. That's 4 days a week. That's 16 hours. If you're okay, let me run this by you. And there's some stuff that I'm going to cover with Andy too that's going to apply to you. So I definitely want you to stick around for that. About client acquisition stuff. Here's the deal: 16 hours. When you're dialed in on your pitch, you can pull a client an hour. There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, that's the KPIs I need to figure out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which means worst case, you should be pulling a client every 2 or 3. So which means if you do a day's worth of work and you don't have a client, it doesn't mean completely freak out. It definitely means evaluate your data and numbers and all the tracking that I've taught you guys to do, right?
Yep.
So you got to track everything. I just had a conversation with someone yesterday in the mentorship about that, where they weren't fully tracking, mind you, the data. And so I didn't have all of the answers for them without taking a guess at what their problem was. Whereas if I clearly laid out to them, if you have a problem between answers and dials and your tracking, then here the problem is either with your list or with your voice message recording, right? With ringless voicemail. So like there's very specific problems that are tied to very specific numbers and KPIs, right?
Right.
What all you need to really know, other than what you already know, is track everything you do. If you're running into challenges with not hitting the KPIs on the calls that you're making, reach out right away. Don't wait a week. Don't wait 2 weeks. Reach out right away, because anything past a week, 2 weeks, you're going to get very, very frustrated very, very quickly, because you're making all these calls, you're getting all this work done, but you're not getting any clients in, and you're going to be like, well, either it's me or this shit doesn't work, one of the two. And I don't want you to get to that point, because I know it works. Here's where, and I'll give you the points where most people get stuck and all that kind of stuff, but I want you to keep in touch on that. Post in the group, ask questions, and I'll give you some of the answers ahead of time, like I said on this call when I talked to Andy about the same thing for client acquisition, things to look for, and be aware of and not do, and at the same time do. But yeah, you should, with 16 hours a week, including setup for a client, call it 3 hours per client. I mean, you're looking at like, what is that, like 5 clients a week? So my point is 17. And here's the thing: I've seen people do 3-4 clients in a day, including setup. Like
I can believe it.
Yeah, and I'm talking about one-man bands here. I'm talking about starting out. I've seen people do 30 plus clients in a month. So 17 is I'm not going to challenge you and say it's low or anything like that. I'm just going to say 17 is.
That's just my goal. I had to have something on my GPS.
That's good. That's totally, and I'm totally with you on that. And I'm going to tell you, when you hit that, by the time you hit that, you're going to be at a state where you're going to be able to map out, budget out, and systemize for position 1. And you'll be looking at doing the same for position 2. So if you're not already building your company training up and building out the training for position 1, okay, perfect. See, okay, good, man. You've been hard at work then. That's good. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's meet back in the middle, right? But I'm gonna. You said you're all good with questions at this point?
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bounce back. It's been great talking to you. I'm gonna bounce back to Andy. So Andy, are you there? And
yeah, I'm here, William.
Awesome. Do you have Zoom on the new computer, or not new, but you know?
Yes, I do. I'm on both. Yeah, I'm on the new one now.
Okay, perfect. Let's take a look at that screen, and then I'm going to talk to. Go ahead.
Do I hit share screen?
Share screen. Yep, that would be the one.
Okay. We stick. Oh no! What the hell? What's that? Editor.
Not seeing it yet.
Hold on. I think you can now.
Yeah, it's starting. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Editor. Very good. So you see that? Do you see the? Well, first off, let's go to the towing campaign. Left-hand menu. Select towing.
There.
No, but select. There you go. Just that. That's exactly right.
Right.
So the error is that it's paused. See that? See where the red? Yeah. I asked you where the red was, right? So you got to. Okay. So you would have to enable that.
Okay.
Now scroll down in that menu. Let's see what else is there. Is there any? Oh, look at that. There's a bunch of shit missing, right? Desktop bid adjustment. Why is that set at 3%?
No idea.
Okay, that's okay. Let's take it. Let's get rid of it. Yeah, let's get rid of that 0%, and then zero that out. Zero out tablet. English. That should be no issue there. Content exclusions, none. Huh. That's weird. What is going on? How did you... okay, so tell me, can you explain to me what you did? You just loaded in all these and for some reason towing didn't load right, or what?
Right, so I loaded... I tried to load... I can't remember what happened, but I did it one time and it all went wrong. And somehow I managed to not send it up to Google AdWords, so I deleted it and restarted it after a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
Then I uploaded them all, and I remember clicking through them all individually to put in the £50 or whatever it is, a CPC bid of 3, I think, or 5, whatever it was. And then it looked okay, and I pressed I think it's post, and everything went into AdWords, and I was over the moon. I looked into AdWords, and it's like, everything but towing. I couldn't believe it. And what I've done since then, I don't know.
Okay, let's scroll back up to the top and go back down through one by one here. All right. Scroll down. Add schedule, none. And that's an error. That shouldn't even be an error. Should allow you to load the campaign in. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to delete it and start over.
Okay. How do I do that?
Right click on the left hand menu. There you go. Delete. Remove.
Hold on.
Towards the bottom. There you go.
There, yeah.
Yep. That's it. All right. Now, go back to actually add in your towing campaign. So you're going to have to go into the keyword level.
Hang on. Do I go to AdCam? No,
keywords and targeting. That's correct.
Okay.
Now, why? Let's see. Towing general. Do you have another towing campaign or something?
Not that no. This is This is a brand new account. I've never had anything in it at all.
Okay. Oh, you're just in the remove campaign. That's fine. What I want you to do is make multiple changes,
Yep.
and then I want you to go in and paste in the data from the sheet that I gave you for Ring Ads Mirror.
But I hope this is still there now. Oh man, hold up.
Take your time. I'm not sure what happened to your campaign there. There's a lot of errors that and data that came from somewhere that don't even apply. Like we don't do any bid adjustments out of the gate, you know. So that's weird.
I had some sort of problem. Hold up. Right. So am I doing all of them or?
Well, I can't see any keywords. I just see a gray looking screen thing. It's weird. What I want you to do is the towing campaign. So grab all columns for the towing campaign, and then everything else you can leave off.
I'm not good in Excel.
Oh, you're in Excel. That's probably why I can't see on your screen. That's really weird. But it's just a black.
You can't see it now?
No, it's a black square. That's all I see.
Oh, okay. Am I just grabbing the keywords from towing yet?
Yeah, not just the keywords, but all of the columns. Okay, all of the columns from the towing. There's more than just keywords, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know how to. Hold on. I am not good in Excel.
That's okay. Are you trying to grab multiple? I wish I could see what you're doing, and it's not your fault. But I mean, first off, why are you okay? The training that I gave you, and this is where it gets kind of crazy. Like the training that I gave you, do I use Excel?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I do not. I use what? I almost always and exclusively use what?
Oh, CSV?
Nope.
I don't know then.
Google Sheets.
Notepad.
Google Sheets.
Right. Okay.
Google Sheets. And I even show you in the training that I use Google Sheets. And I say, you can use Excel. Best of luck to you, because I don't. And this is what I use, and this is how I use it, and this is how you can too, right? Like I'm not gonna teach you on something I don't know or know very well. And I'm not saying that Excel is that completely different, but at the same time, one of the reasons why I probably can't see your screen is because, or see your Excel, is because it's an Excel. It's not a browser window. You know what I mean? Whereas if it were in Google Sheets, it's in the cloud. It's a browser window. Problem solved, and I can see everything you're doing, and I can know exactly what to tell you to do, blindfolded, by the way.
I haven't got a Google account in this machine. I can't risk linking it to my other one.
And that's fine. That's fine. I understand. So, like I said, there's always.
Why don't I get out of this and go back? There may be. Can you see it now?
Now I can see your ads editor, but I can't see. I can't see anything else. So I just see the ads editor with the pop-up window.
I'm sorry. What am I trying to get? I'm trying to get all the data.
You're trying to get all of the columns for towing. Not just the keywords, but all of the columns for towing.
Right, hold on. I don't know how to get all the columns without picking up all the whole campaign.
You should be able to. I think it's Control. Hold down Control on a Windows machine.
Every time I do it, just
or Shift. Is it Shift? Maybe it's Shift. You hold down Shift as you select all the keywords, and then drag over the. There's like in the bottom right-hand corner of whatever your selection is. There's like this little square-looking thing. and you drag that over, you should be able to, as long as you're holding shift.
Here we go.
Did you get it?
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
This is just, hold up. Free service, hang about, no end in a minute.
By the way, we still can't see anything you're doing. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but
all I've got now is keywords. I haven't got any ads or anything else at all. It's just the keywords.
that's not enough. You need all the columns. So you're saying you selected? You're saying you selected all the keywords?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at your selection, and at the bottom of where you stopped in the selection, do you see like this little blue square?
Yeah.
If you're holding down shift, right? If you're holding down the shift key, you should be able to click and drag that little blue square at the bottom of your selection all the way over and grab
it. The keywords I can't get it all for whatever reason. Now it's for some reason I've messed it up. Let me
Okay.
get out of it. Don't say. Sorry.
That's okay. You know what? Here's the thing though. Like what we're talking about doing is exactly what I've trained you to do on the training. Now, I think the best way forward here. I'm not even trying to be funny or be a smartass or anything. I'm being dead serious. Like I really think is just to start over since you deleted out the the campaign. I think the best way is to actually go through step by step on the training again, just with the towing data, like I was telling you, right? So grab all those, and if you use Google Sheets, it's going to be super easy for you to hold Shift, grab all the columns, and then paste them in, and it should go right away.
Okay.
I mean, the others did. There's no reason. There's no reason for towing not to, And I don't know what happened or what caused it, but
I think
sometimes
you're right. I must have hit a cell in Excel or something, and it's formatted it wrong or something.
and it's totally okay. I mean, as long as you understand like that, it actually doesn't matter near as much as just starting over. I think is the key. But because of limitations of being able to see and us getting frustrated or something, and you're tired, I don't want to make this seem impossible or something for you. It's not. You've loaded every other campaign. I would like to point that out. So congratulations on that. But with the towing, it's not like towing is the impossible vertical or something. Okay, so we just gotta start over. You just gotta start over. And if you're having issues with it from there. Do you know how to do screencasts?
No.
Okay, like Screencast-O-Matic. What's some of the free ones?
Screenematic. So I've got Screenematic, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're having issues after you've tried doing this again, just with the towing campaign, shoot me a Screencast-O-Matic and make sure it's a full screen so I can see everything. But other than that, I'm going to be able to immediately go, oh, this and this and that, right? And point you in the right direction. The most common problems for campaigns showing a red flag are daily budget on the campaign level, max CPC not having a setting listed in that or a bid in that for the ad groups, and then keywords not having a bid, right? Those are the main causes for red flags. And the data, here's what's crazy. If you're able to grab all the columns, which you will be able to when you go back to the training again, when you input all that data, all that's in there, except for I think
daily budget and one other thing, isn't
something like that. Yeah, but I tell you what that is in the training, and then you go and you do it, and then it's so I think it's gonna be much easier on both of us. I wish I could show you, but I kind of already have, and I think that's actually pretty valuable when you.
So what I would do, there's no way of actually getting rid of this. I can't delete it off completely.
It will, yeah. What it'll do is it'll update eventually. It's one of those weird things. Like I have completely uninstalled AdWords Editor before, cleared out the cache, and still it shows. And then a day later it's gone, or 2 days later it's gone. I can't explain it. I really can't. But if you see a line through it, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Okay.
And keep in mind, it's gone from. You actually have to. You know what you should do? Have you posted?
Oh, do you know what? I've hacked. I was about to say I have got. I emailed myself the keywords to a separate email.
It's more than just keywords, though, right? You're pasting it. You're pasting it. Yeah, you're pasting in more than just keywords. I mean, because remember, the keywords actually have to have the ad group and the campaign name tied to it at a minimum, right? But there's a bunch of other stuff too, like the bids and all that kind of stuff that's attached to it. That's going to help make things a lot easier. Yeah, I say just go through the training again. It's going to make it a lot easier. You should be able to, by the way, load up that Google Sheet from any Chrome browser, whether you have a Google account or not. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's wide open. I don't think I limited that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think it's wide open for you to grab that if you've got the direct link. So, and you do, because it's in the training. So you should be good to go, man. I would say
Well, I've got
get
my day
some.
off tomorrow.
I would say get some sleep, chill out. Have a good time. Wake up and you're fresh in the morning. Start with only the towing campaign, and then if you're having issues, send me a video, and I'll be on the lookout tomorrow. And if I get a ticket in or something from you with a screencast, then I'll be able to point you in the right direction. And we'll get you going.
Okay.
All right.
I've got some other questions if I can. Thanks for that. That's just like
you do.
Stupid.
It's not a problem. And then I have something I got to talk to you about. You and Brandon. So fire away on the questions. And
okay, so you kind of covered it. I think with Brandon for myself. Like, I mean, I won't bore you with the personal life detail. The long story short, I'm at the position now where I'm self-employed, but I run my own diary and sales, so I can. Like, once I've got this campaign built, I've just got to finish with the last bit of the ClickFunnels site for taking. I screwed that up.
Okay.
That'll be finished tomorrow, and finish my market research tomorrow. So I've only done about 5 calls so far, like decent ones. And Saturday I want to start prospecting and do like 4 hours, and then every Wednesday and Saturday I want to put in 4 hours. That's my plan.
Okay.
And if I can get the $4,000 a month, I can replace my income and quit my job.
It's not going to take. It's not going to take many clients to do that. It's not going to take many clients to do that.
Okay. And that's the plan, basically, mate. I mean, I know I probably seem like really stupid.
No, listen. You know what it is. More than anything for me, like anytime you hear frustration from me, it doesn't always mean it's you, right? And in this case, I can 100% tell you it's not you. I'm human, dude. I'm not a robot. So like when I see something that frustrates the living shit out of me, it frustrates me. It's not you. For me, it was more of like, okay, shit, we need to back up a second and do some visual. And so you had to load the computer up. We got that. But then we don't have the full visual. And then it's like, oh shit, now we're not using the sheets. And so it's like, you know what? We have training. And I think that's the like simplest answer, that's all. So I'm not. Yeah, I'm not by any means. I'm not like upset with you or anything. I'm actually very proud of you. And listen, guys, if I were ever, there have been. I'll tell you right now. There was a guy. This wasn't recently. This was like maybe a few months ago. So I guess recent, but not to me. So much has happened in the last few months. No, maybe 4 or 5 months ago now. It was towards the beginning of the year. I had a guy, actually 2 gentlemen, who I was running behind on getting...
Sound's just gone, William.
Sound went out, William.
Can you guys still hear me okay? Hello? Hello?
I hear you, mate.
You can't hear me? Okay. Hold on just a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There I am? Okay. Sorry about that. Bluetooth, it just went out for some reason. My mouse wasn't working either. That was kind of scary. Okay, so I had 2 gentlemen. This was like 4 or 5 months ago, and if you'll remember, like I was running behind on getting Ring Ads Mirror out and some of the Prime updates, and I had asked everybody, to be patient. It's coming. I'm not out to like steal from you or anything. Like, I'm going to deliver, and I always do. And here's the thing: it's never on everybody else's timetable. It's always on a totally different timetable. But I always deliver what I say I'm going to. Now, here's the thing: I had two guys. One guy was like a total ass about everything, and called me a thief, like straight out, just said some just heinous shit, and this was privately, and so I reached out to him actually and called him. So I called both of these gentlemen. The second one didn't say any of those things, but he had the same concerns, and so and was visibly concerned about it, and so I called both of them. The first one I called up was the one that was calling me a thief, and I told him straight up, like, here's the deal, here's what's going on, and actually I think at that point it had been updated, so like the info was there, he just hadn't accessed it yet, and it had been there for like several days, if I remember right. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the case was. And well, I run, software companies, and that's just not how you do it. And it's like, Jesus, man, I'm a startup. Like, cut us some slack. Like, I laid it. And so here's the thing: I actually got really pissed with him. I said, you know what, dude? I have no problems. What's your email address? I'll refund you right now. I want you gone. I'm getting rid of you. Like, that was a hostile towards him, because fuck him. Right? Because he was being a total dick about everything. He had a closed off mind. He was not going to see any success with the program, and that doesn't bother me because he had already closed himself off. That is one of the few times that I have gotten pissed at someone to the point of taking care of business. Right? No one else to date has in ring ads has done that, or even come close to that. I've kicked a couple of people out of the group because they were like doing some stupid shit, but I don't take that as a personal affront or anything. But when you name call me like that and don't have an open mind as to what's already been delivered, and I'm trying to explain to you where to find it and shit, and it's like, okay, refund, and here's your refund, and threatened to badmouth me, threatened to all kinds of stupid shit. Anyway, the point is, the other guy, I approached the conversation the exact same way as I did the first guy. I made it a point to, and he was totally open-minded, totally on point. I ended up refunding him because of his situation and everything, and what was going on with that. But totally nice guy, and totally understood what was going on. No issues, no threats, no name calling, and he got right out. And these calls were back to back, by the way, so not like 2 days apart. So like right after the real shit conversation I just had, I had a great one, and the guy got a totally different version of me because I wasn't pissed at him, right? Like, so when you hear frustration in my voice, and maybe I don't explain this enough because of how I operate.
I get it. I'm messing up on a kindergarten move, and you're like Yoda kind of thing. So I would be.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far and say that. What I would say is this: like, there's a lot of my driver's ed teacher, who I did not like at all, taught me something very valuable. Oddly enough, in a car accident, there's never one thing that causes the accident, right? There's always it was dark, it was raining, the tires on car A were bald, right? The person in car B was not paying as much attention as they could because their kid was yelling to high hell in the back. Like, there's all these different factors, right? The stoplight was known to be at an odd angle at that intersection or whatever, right? There's all these different factors that played into the accident that happened, right? There's never just one thing. So I want you to look at every interaction, every scenario, not just that we have, but that you have in the rest of your life, now that you know this. There's never just one thing that causes anything, good or bad, by the way, not just accidents. It applies across everything in life. For our example here with what we're dealing with, notice it's not one thing. Andy's tired, right? I can't see what I need to see. And then it's like, okay, now we're switched over, but we still can't see what we need to see. You know what? Let's go back to what we know works and has worked for you, and I know is going to work for you again. Just start over, but just start with the towing. Like, that's all. That's all it was. That doesn't mean that people don't get frustrated in the process, is my point. And just know that if I'm personally upset with you, you would know it. You know what I mean? Like, I would never.
Like, there's a million marketers that won't even respond to an email when you pay them $500 and you're giving us all your time for free, mate. It's there's no question about your integrity, mate, in my mind, or your value or your knowledge. End of story.
Well, I appreciate that. I was just trying to state, like, just so you know who you're dealing with, because I understand. I'm an odd duck. I'm not special. I just I operate differently. That doesn't mean I'm better or worse. It just means different. Most people expect a different level of interaction when they interact with me. I'm much more of a let's see it, let's do it, and then let's talk about the after effects and all the things to look for going forward into the future, right? To keep you on the road. Most people are probably not used to that, or how I operate that way, and also how I deal with my frustrations on a personal level. Because a lot of people are like, man, he's getting upset with me. No, I'm upset with the problem, and upset's not even, it's too strong of a word. Frustrated is probably the better word, right? And it's not that it's unsolvable. We solved the problem. We know exactly what to do now to fix it. For me, though, sometimes it helps to take a breath, take a step back, look at all of our options again, because I'm too close to it to fix it. And whenever I'm too close to it to fix it, I always take a step back. And then it's like, oh, look, there's the answer right there. Let's just go that way with it. And sometimes it's an attractive answer, an easy one. And sometimes it takes a while. What's interesting though is just my frustrations are actually like me venting out the shit so that I can get to the answer. And most people take that as like, oh, he's frustrated with me. No, like I'm trying to. I end up venting, on someone instead of okay. So, well, it's not just you. Sometimes people, when they like I said, when I interact with them, they may take that as a personal thing. It's never a personal thing. It only if and only when I say, yo, man, this is direct to you. Do I mean to say something like that towards you? And I have, but very rarely. It's not a common thing for me to have to do that. And that's one of the things I appreciate about all you guys is like, you work hard. Brandon was talking about driving the truck for a living on third shift, for Christ's sake. Like, I get it. You guys work hard, and I do
about a 10-hour day on the road selling non-stop.
Right.
I can get 12 to 15 customers a day. In between, I'm on the phone calling and
Jesus.
texting.
Yeah.
Getting at night, I've got 1 hour to 2 hours booking my appointments for the next day on the phone and texting. And that's what I've done today and yesterday. Tomorrow I've got the day off. But I want to see what you think of my 2 4-hour sessions a week. Once I've got the campaign up.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned to Brandon earlier, you said that you could get 2 or 3 clients in, was it 3 hours or something on average, or
one completely, like, acquire a client, get them set up, 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 3 hours. So if you did one a day, on average, for a 2 4-hour sessions, or 1.5 a day, so 3 a week. You'd be right on point, And by the way, those averages are on the lower end of conversion. That's like that's if you convert 1 in 7 or so. If you convert at 1 in 5 on the pitches, like if you have 5 people that you've pitched to and you convert 1, that's 1 in 5. That's where the numbers and the tracking comes in handy, which we'll talk about in a second, for you and Brandon. But the point is, if you do 1 in 5. You're probably going to be closing somewhere close to 1 an hour, 1 every hour and a half. Okay, so and by the way, to go from 1 in 7 to 1 in 5, I'm about to teach you guys how to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I know I've got the technical hurdle here, but from what I'm telling you, the 2 4-hour sessions a week is
Yeah.
enough to get me some kind of results. And then once I get the hang of it, I know what I'm like as a person. Once I get into it and I've got my pitch perfect, then I'm more confident and I'm driving some calls. So I've listened, I've read all of your guide about 20 times. I just watched all the videos. I'm just watching Vision 1 and 2 when you call come on. You come on there earlier. Is that I'm going to take a week off work, and then I'm going to prospect for 6 days straight. You know, do 4 or 5 hours a day. That's my plan. I just need to get my head around the whole system. I've got my walkthrough with Sherry at Dollar Central tomorrow.
Good.
Then it's Saturday prospecting.
Okay. Okay, cool. So here's, that's totally doable. There's a couple of things I want to, couple pieces of wisdom I want to impart on you guys, you and Brandon and everybody else listening too. But here's the thing. Number one, tracking is everything. Mm-hmm. Tracking is everything. I've had people, and not just recently, I had one yesterday, yes, but I've had people as far back as I can remember that don't take me seriously on that. Andy, you've seen me do it on COVID Client Challenge. You were there live. Brandon, I don't know if you were there live, but I know that you've probably seen it by now. I take tracking. I take tracking very, very seriously, and you see the results it produces, because like the second you get down on yourself, what do you have that you can look at? You can look at your numbers and be like, Jesus, I pushed all the way to the pitch. The only thing left to do is to close. That means what am I messing up on, or what am I not doing well enough? It's the pitch to close, right? And the problems that come with those. And you focus on that, got a client. It's that simple, guys. And only if you know your numbers, though. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know where the problems are, right? You could be.
That's what I love about what you do. Is I've been in direct sales my entire life, and every company I've ever worked for. I mean, they're all commission only. They're not actually jobs. Paid your basic, but like it's all about the numbers. You know, are you a 1 in 2 and R top rep, or you a 1 in 7? You're getting sacked. So I'm used to that, and that's what I love about what you teach, because I know I can put myself through that, and I can get right. I can get to 1 in 3, 1 in 5. Not straight away, but I know I get there.
You know, you'll get there. Exactly. Less than that if you go at it. Here's the other thing is, let me ask you guys something. We're all business owners here, right? We're looking to scale the business ultimately, maybe not right out of the gate, I get it, but ultimately build a business, have staff. Let me ask you something. You hire somebody, and you have the not just the responsibility of taking care of that person and them for you on the sales side for this position, let's say, but you also have the responsibility of letting go of people that are not good for you and your business, right? And finding the people that are good for your business and keeping them and holding on to them, right? How are you going to know that if you don't have them track everything that they do?
You're not.
You're not. And I'm going to tell you right now, who do they learn from? As a brand new employee, they learn from you, right? They learn from you. Now, does that mean that you have to be the absolute, Jedi master at tracking? No, but you better be good at it, right? You better be, and by the way, being good at writing shit down is really not like, come on, guys. All we're talking about. Yes. Brandon, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Quick question, because I tried going back. I thought I kept notes. I use Google Drive for everything, and I don't know if I was on the wrong email. I have a couple emails I use.
Okay.
You had wrote down, I remember on the COVID challenge when you were starting to do the blitz, your KPIs. Like, I think it was like number of calls, and it was talk to somebody or something like that. What was it? Because I have my notes up here, and I'm going to take.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple different ways to do it, but basically you've got dials, so that's ringless voicemails. You could also count the times you actually dialed the phone, right?
Okay.
And then answers under that, right? So how many people answered the phone?
Okay.
And then under that, and this is optional, but it's something I like to do, is decision makers.
Okay.
Right, and then under that,
the owner or marketing manager, or
somebody who can cut the check.
Pay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Whoever can cut the check, right, or pay. Yeah. Under that's qualified. So how many people went through the qualified questions, became qualified, which is very close, and the numbers should be very close to qualified and pitch. I'll go over the numbers here in a second, but pitch is underneath qualified. So how many people that qualify, how many people that pitch, those numbers should be very, very close, if not exact, Okay.
As in when you say, "How about this? Let's start small."
The first pitch, yeah. That's
Okay.
when I call we got to the pitch, right?
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah, something metal type, yeah, because you've got to ask the order 3-5 times, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, not every case, but most every case. Like expect it, and expect them to say no the first time. It's just, okay. Think of it this way: if I were to ask you guys right now to pay me $1,000, your instant fucking reaction would be no. Too much. But then when I go through the 5 reasons why you should spend $1,000 with me, as an example here, you're gonna catch one of them, right, or 2 of them, and then you're gonna be like, oh, you know what, and you're gonna feedback, but you spent $1,000 over here with this guy before, and I'm like, but I'm not that guy, and I understand you've been burned before, but this has results, this works, and then 5 reasons again, 1,000, same concept, right? It doesn't matter the price point. Right? So this, very much so could be used for selling all kinds of stuff, no doubt, high ticket or not. But we focus on the longevity of the business and growing the business more than we do the high ticket. The high ticket stuff comes from re-ups in our business model, and that works very well for us because it's much easier to when you have an existing client, it's much easier to get more money from them and exchange value, of course, for that money, not just suck money out of them, but like exchange more value, get more money out of that relationship in that exchange from an existing client than it is a brand new one, right? Not saying that going after $5,000 and $10,000 and $100,000 clients are a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a hell of a lot easier effort-wise and also management-wise to work with clients at a lower level and grow them, right? And you can also, by the way, when you grow a relationship with a client like that or clients like that, you can grow that relationship like you ever see those vine trees where they grow them into different shapes by using like sticks and all that stuff. And
Bonsai?
Yeah.
Bonsai trees, but then there's also like they wrap like sticks around them and make them deform, really deform, because they're normally supposed to grow like straight up, but they end up doing this.
I guess that's the art form. Bonsai, because I started buying plants. I just started getting into this, and like I always thought a bonsai tree that's like really a tree, but no, it's the art form of manipulating like
the tree
and stuff like that. Yeah. Grow crazy.
Yeah. So you get the idea of like what what I'm trying to get at here is that you can actually take that relationship with that client and grow it into the expectations that you want from your business, from the policies. Think of it this way. When you go to McDonald's, do you order a number 26? No, you do not. You order a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever they've got set. Why? Because you have been molded to their expectations in how to do business, right? Do you eat the food and then pay at McDonald's? No, you do not. You pay first and then eat at McDonald's. Are there places where you eat and then pay? Yes, there are. McDonald's just happens to not be one of them, based on company policies. So you guys, you are owners, and this is for everybody listening. You're owners, you're business owners. You have the ability to set those policies on who you're going to do business with and why, right? Who you're not going to do business with and why, and what you expect going forward. And you can grow these client relationships and then not only just grow them yourself, but as you hire staff, they're going to follow the leader. That's you, right? So if you're growing those relationships that way and you've built training on how to do that inside of customer support and onboarding positions, guess what your company's going to do? Continue growing those relationships. And what that does is it increases the client lifetime value. You get referrals like crazy. You get all kinds of benefits that come from lifelong clients at a very minimum. You get all these different things that come to you from a business that or you could go after 5-10 grand clients, still build the trust and build the relationship the way you want, but you're much more on a leveraged end, if you will, starting out of the gate than you are building from way over here up with the client. So it's just a different way of doing things. It's not a bad way to go after high ticket or anything. I'm not saying anything bad about high ticket. I'm just saying this is how we choose to do it. It's much more manageable for local clients to come on board with you and see the results and grow with you That's why we say that. That's why we mean that. Anyway, so
the word barrier to entry.
low barrier to entry. That's exactly right. Okay, so for the numbers, dials, answers, DMs or decision makers, qualified, pitches, and close. The numbers are going to be, if you have 100 dials. Now, keep in mind, ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, it's 1 to 3%. Right? Answers need to be 1 to 3%. So if you have 100 dials on ringless voicemail, you should have 1 to 3 answers. Okay? Or callbacks, people to follow up with. Right? They called you, they missed a call, right? 1 to 3. All right? Now, if you manually dial or use an auto dialer or a predictive dialer like Prospect Boss, right? Those are things where it's manual dialing, but it's faster. Okay, it's not ringless voicemail, it's not voice broadcasting, it's totally different. Those are manual dialing is going to be anywhere from 40 to 50%. So if you have 100 dials manually, you should have 40 to 50 answers. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on a second, I'm gonna take it. Okay. You said fit. What was that again? What was the KPI on that?
40 to 50. That's okay. 40 to 50% on answers to dials, and that's manual dials. Ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, 1 to 3%. I've seen as high as 4, 5, 6%. 1 to 3 is going to be solid. Okay. For ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting.
Manual dials 40 to 50%.
Manual dials 40 to 50%. If you have a problem with that metric, you're not hitting those metrics, you have one of two problems. Your list sucks, got to go clean it up or deal with it, or your ringless voice message sucks. Got to go back and listen to the tonal patterns, re-record it, get somebody on Fiverr to do it.
That's a good point.
Okay.
I was going to ask, my accent being from the UK, and you think I'd be better to get a voiceover? I found quite a few good ones on Fiverr. But
you have the world's most trusted accent. Why would you cover that up?
Say, man, people like that accent.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Well, that's something to get my favour then.
I would say yeah. Okay. So answers, qualified to answers, right? You want roughly 50% of the answers that you have. So if you have 100 dials and you have 40 to 50 answers, decision makers, you're going to have half of those be decision makers. So half the time people answer the phone, they're going to be decision makers, right? Or half the time you get people on the phone, you will get to a decision maker, whether that's right away, the person who answered, or they transfer you right away. So the number is going to be 20 to 25 out of 100 on the decision makers, right? Now, qualifieds are going to be like roughly 75-80% of that. 75 to 80% of that number above, right? So if you're talking 20 to 25, you're talking 15 to 20, 15 to 20 qualifieds, right? And the qualifieds and pitches are almost identical. They should be identical, but shit happens. Sometimes somebody's got an emergency; they got to hang up right away. Sometimes they say, "Let me call you back." Right when you get to the point where they're qualified and you have not made the pitch yet. So that number might be, for example, if you got 20 qualifieds, you might have 19 pitches. That's okay. If you have 20 qualifieds and 5 pitches, there's a problem. Okay? And we'll talk about the problems here in a second. I already gave you one at the top, but we'll go back to that. And then from pitches to closing, right? Starting out, if you totally suck eggs at this, it should be 1 in 7. It should be 1 in 7. Meaning out of 15 to 20, you should have 2 to 3 clients out of 100 manual dials. I mean, if all you ever did was manually, if all you ever.
I was writing this down. Sorry. Out of
Say again.
Last time.
The last what?
I'm writing this all down. Sorry, the last number you said about clients, I just missed.
1 in 7. 1 in 7. Yeah,
starting.
You
probably have 2 clients.
Right, 2 to 3 clients. That's exactly right. And then as you get better, 1 in 5, you instantly go up 3 or 4. Out of 100 manual dials, guys, it's not that difficult. That's the thing. It's like,
have you ever sent somebody that was kind of wishy-washy, sent them like a VSL or something, and then followed up with them, like say, hey, I'm going to send you this, and then I'll follow up with you a couple days. Or
I'm
something
not,
like that?
listen,
You don't do that?
I don't do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying not to do that. Here's what I'm going to say instead. Follow-up is key. I choose the best form of follow-up that I can choose, which is the phone. You know what I mean? Like, let me put it to you this way. If you and I were talking about doing business together on something, like partnering on a project or some crazy shit like that, and I were to reach out to you, what would have more of an impact? If I kept reaching out to you via phone and screen share, or if I kept sending you, and keep in mind, it's not just one VSL or something, but I send you a VSL, I send you an email, I call you, and I kind of sprinkle out the different types of I stalk you on Facebook, I stalk you on Twitter, I at mention you, that kind of shit. Like, and Grant Cardone does that. I mean, he talks about doing that all the time. Stalking the living shit out of somebody 17 times right there on a live stream, and for him it works. That's something that I'm not saying it doesn't work. I like to follow up using the phone, the strongest method possible, the most potent, and I do it multiple times, right? Multiple times, because at some point there's going to be a right time for you to sit down and have that chat with me, right? It may not be the first time I call you, and I'm okay with that. So that's just my personal preference, right? It's what works for me, though, right?
This is what I love about what you're doing, because all the methods I tried, they're always sort of fancy,
Keep it simple.
$2,000.
Keep it simple.
Beats. And if I can make 100 calls manually, and I can get 2 or 3 clients, mate, I can turn my life around in no time.
Yes. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Fancy kind of on Facebook ads, and I'm paying $50 to get one lead, and if I've got that person, it's a bad day, and I follow up with them, and I send them a couple of voice samples of the calls, and I give them a call in a month. I'm building a database, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Yeah, that's very helpful too, by the way. Okay, so there's a couple things we need to talk about for the problems, right? Because it's not just the numbers. The numbers tell you if there's a problem or not, right? And then once you know if there's a problem or not, now you need to know what that problem is and then how to fix it. So let's talk about the problems and then how to fix it based on the numbers I just gave you guys. So let's start at the top. We talked about if you got a problem with your numbers between answers and dials, you got 2 main issues to look at.
The voice messages and the voice broadcasting.
The voice recording that you're using in ringless voicemail or voice broadcasting, both actually, and the list. Got to look at both, right? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
For decision makers to answers, what's the problem? If you got the right answers but you're not getting in front of enough decision makers, what's the obvious problem?
Gatekeeper.
Right. You're either running into a gatekeeper, an answering service, you're not getting in front of the decision maker, right? And there's things that you can do to fix that. Most of the time it's going to be the urgency and also the courtesy to the gatekeeper. Like, not, by the way, not calling them a gatekeeper is the first step. Like, you would never call them a gatekeeper to their face, because that would really piss them off. Maybe even they might get off on it, like the idea of like, yeah, I'm the gatekeeper. Totally the wrong idea you want to send. And they're not a gatekeeper. The way I look at it is whoever answers the phone, even if it's the business owner, the hat that person is wearing, the job title of that person is the person that's going to be information directory. I need to know who to speak to, right? That's it. There's nothing else to really say. Now, if I know that that's the manager's job, or that's the owner and his name is Tom and he's not in right now, and if they don't tell me the name, it's like, okay, cool. When's a good time normally to catch the owner, right? And I just get the information I need to get as much as I can to follow up, right? That's it. That's all you can do. If they ask you to send more information, you say, I'd be more than happy to send information. Tell me what information you need to see, right? That's what I always answer. Be more than happy. Anytime somebody says send me info, even a business owner, be more than happy to send you any information you'd like. Tell me what information you like, and I'll send it to you, right? And they tell me what the information is that they need to see. And if it's not a business owner, then I'm going to put something together and probably send them one of the formatted template emails with the recordings attached. because that's most of the time what they need to see, right? Even if they say they need to see something else, that's most of the time what they care the most about. They want to make sure that the calls are good. When they hear the recordings, they'll be like, shit, those calls are good, I'm going to get a call. Or they're going to follow up with an email. And then I call them. I never leave it to an email transaction. I always call. No matter what. If it's not a business owner, or if it's a business owner, the objective to asking that question, I'd be more than happy to send you something, Mr. Jones. Please tell me what it is you're looking for so that I can send that. And they're going to tell me, well, what your pricing and this and that. And I'm going to say, well, I'm the best person to talk to about that. The pricing is this and that. Lay it out, right? Whatever it is they're looking for information on. That's a stall tactic. Use it to keep them on the phone, though, right? That's how you do it. I'd be more than happy to send you any information you like. Tell me what it is that you're looking information for. Now, that's for decision makers, getting decision makers on the phone. Sometimes they're out in the field. Depends on the vertical. Like if you got a vertical where the business owner is likely out in the field working, ask for the direct sale. And if they ask why, say this is urgent. I've got phone calls coming in every day. I know if you guys could use more business right now, I got to talk to them right away as soon as it's convenient. Like, but there's urgency there. Like you can feel it. You can feel my urgency, right? Just me even saying it like that.
In your voice.
That
is what you're,
exactly.
the urgency in your voice.
It's not just the tonal patterns. That's part of it, but also me asking for the cell phone number in of itself is an emergency because that's probably usually reserved for the office, the wife, like a handful of people, right? So for me, just even to ask it. By the way, how many telemarketers do you think have the balls to ask for a cell phone?
Not many.
Not
Shit,
many,
probably not
dude.
at all.
Probably very, if any, very, very few. So right away, you're separating yourself, differentiating yourself from the normal shit that comes through their telephone line every day, right? All right, so decision makers qualified. So you ask your qualifying questions. If you're not getting a lot of qualified people, what's the problem? One of two things. Well, three things.
I'm lost there. So
They might have or depending on the industry, it could be just maybe the city's too small, or maybe it's too small of a company.
Right. So in other words, that leads back to the what problem. Starts with an L at the very top.
The list.
Could be a list problem.
Yeah.
Could be a list problem. Like if you grabbed a scrape from Google Maps and you didn't use the right keywords or something, right? Simple, keeping it simple, that could create a problem. That's one of the basic problems. What about asking the questions? If you don't ask the questions in a non-interrogative form, in other words, if you sound like you're a private investigator, where were you between Tuesday night between the hours of 6 and 8? If you ask questions like that with a light bulb in their face, they're going to sweat and shut down immediately, right? And not give you any kind of open-ended answers. Like, you have to, this is where a little bit of the South comes out, but it's also actually something that's very English in a lot of ways, where it's banter. You know what banter is, for those of you over there. And for us, it's more of what we call shooting the shit. But at the same time, I'm shooting the shit I'm sniper shooting the shit. So I'm asking the question, but the question doesn't seem like it's a very revealing answer to the question, but it doesn't feel like it's a very disarming question the way I ask it, and that's very much tonal patterns.
I was gonna say, man, in the COVID, I noticed you're really good at doing that, man.
Well, it's something that's learned. That's the thing. It's not something I was born with or something. You know, it's not like an extra pinky. You know, I had to earn that, and you guys can too. And it's not hard. It's really actually the most. It's the most fun part of the conversation for me, because this is where you get down to the good shit. Is this going to be a good fit or not, based on the qualifiers and how good of a conversation am I going to have with them? Because that's where the red flags can really start showing up for someone who's going to be a difficult client. Not someone that's ideal, just based on how they are as a person, believe it or not. Because if they're that way, guess what? Everybody at their company is probably not going to be happy, right? If you got a bunch of unhappy people running around, are the consumers going to be ultimately overall happy or have a high satisfaction rate? Most likely not.
Yeah, I remember that one old guy you had.
Yeah, the drunk guy. You talking about the
No,
drunk guy?
Not that guy.
That guy
the
was
one
crazy.
guy that was just like angry with his life.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
bro, your business.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit! I would, even if he changed his mind, I wouldn't even want to deal with that guy.
See what I'm saying? Like that's just
Lord.
it's just asking for trouble, and there's
Yeah.
so much business out there. Okay, so where were we at? We're on qualified questions.
Decision to qualify.
Asking, yeah. So the problem, asking nicely. So use words like share with me, tell, or phrases like share with me, tell me a little bit about, just a ballpark. Those are all roundabout. That's a southern thing, but still can be used if you say it roundabout. Like those are great ways to lighten the mood of the questions you're asking. I'm surprised interrogators don't use that shit. It's kind of crazy, right? They put you in a
Says,
very
share with me or
yeah.
tell me about.
Share with me, yeah. Share with me. Tell me a little bit about, just a ballpark, right? Roundabout. What's that like?
Let's do this. Let's start small.
No, those are phrases for closing. These are disarming phrases for shoot the shit, shooting the shit. Yeah, but notice they're very sniper because the questions you ask are, what's your annual salary roundabout? It's like, man, that's a very specific question, but asked in a disarming, very personal question, but asked in a very disarming way, and it does make a big difference, huge difference actually.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, when you're doing this right, when you take a lot of calls and you hear from time to time, you hear things like, man, I can't believe I'm sharing all this with you. I just never talk to anybody about this stuff. You know you're not good, but you know you're on the right track. Let's be humble. Like that's the way I look at it. I don't say, man, I'm fucking good at this. I just go, man, I'm on the right track with this. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, right? And that's how you should look at it. Be humble. All right, so qualified. The other problem you might have is the type of questions you're asking. I mean, if you're asking questions like, if you're asking questions that are too specific or not specific enough based on market research, so the stem of the problem here is market research. Got to do very well with your market research in order to produce the right kinds of questions to ask. If you ever have a question about whether you have asked the right questions or not in your qualifying questions, you know who to ask, right? That's me. And I have no problem going over that kind of stuff with you guys. Because notice that's very specific. I know exactly where you're at, what you've got done, what you haven't got done, just because of what you're asking me. But those are the three main things that would keep you from qualifying a fair amount of people, right? Or a fair amount of companies to do business with. Now, pitches to qualifies. The only real main holdback there is going to be if you're not moving into the pitch quickly enough. Like if you ask that last question, you're kind of dragging it out, or you're asking too many questions, right? Instead of just a set number of few questions for qualifying initially, right? That's where you don't transition into the pitch. Okay, great. So based on what we've covered so far, I think you'd be able to take really great care of these HVAC calls coming in every day. So let's do this. In other words, I've already moved right into the pitch. If you don't do all of that fluidly, quickly, not Micro Machine Man fast or radio disclaimer fast, but just a hair under that, right? Like, and you said you could take 10 calls a day? Okay, great. Well, based on what we've covered so far, I think you'd be a great fit to take care of these. That speed. Does everybody feel that?
Yep.
No hesitation, no lag. Go right into it. And notice there's no script in front of me. Actually, it's over here. But it wasn't in front of me. And you always have it in front of you. That's my point I'm making there. Just because you got it memorized doesn't mean shit. Because you can still like me. You can still stutter sometimes. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Not at that moment. That moment is critical. Get through the pitch. You want to hear them say the words no, right? And you're expecting that. We covered the numbers on the pitch to close. Okay, so the pitch to close, that's the last one, the problems that you're going to have. So the main problems that people have going from a pitch to a close and not actually achieving the close is they're either not asking for the money enough, right? Enough times. The other, that's the main one. The other ones are urgency and reassurance. Urgency and reassurance. Urgency meaning it's your problem to have, not theirs, but it's still a problem, and it's their gain and your gain if they decide to do business with you, because you're going to deliver the phone calls that they're going to pay for and keep doing business, and everybody wins. But it is a problem because the calls are currently not going somewhere. There you go, right? The reassurance is a lot of times, a lot of verticals, you'll have people that have been burned before, or you're going to have either it's a bad experience, or they're just on the fence because they've not dealt with something like this before, or really delved into it, right? Or they've never taken a phone call like this on this kind of a deal before. The reassurance comes from, you know what you're doing, you've done it, you've driven phone calls that are qualified before, you know you got them in your back pocket. It's like best description. You know you have an ace up your sleeve, right? You're trying to tell your best friend to put in the $100 into the pot because you know you can't just say it at the table, right? That you got the ace up the sleeve, but you can tell your friend, I've got an ace up my sleeve. Are we gonna do this, or put the $100 in? Let's do this. We'll do it. We're gonna bank, right? Like, and then there comes the ace. Bam. You have to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you have the ace up the sleeve. That's why, by the way, I teach you guys to, if you're not comfortable, like some people, I'll tell you right now, some people, there's different types of people out there, tons of different types, but there's a few main types in this business model starting out. There's people that need to take on a client, run a campaign, start a campaign up, drive a qualified phone calls just so that they can know for their own peace of mind that they can do it, right? Totally okay with that. That's why I teach that. There's another option to where you start up a national campaign under an affiliate offer, you dial it in, you transition over to local clients, you keep the affiliate offer running if it's profitable for you. But the point is to gather a ton of data quickly. You can do it that way as well. It's the equivalent of a Flyant, only a national Flyant, and tons more data a lot faster, right? Then you've got the people who, and they are out there and they do exist and they've done well, bull in a china shop, right? They're already on step 10 before they've even stepped on step 1, kind of a thing. Now, I'm not saying they always jump ahead. What I'm saying is they blindly trust, or not, maybe not even blindly. Maybe they just trust me because they trust me, and they just blaze through, is my point. To the point where, you know, they followed the fact that they needed to do a client blitz. They followed, and the client blitz obviously got them a ton of clients, and the ton of clients gave them the ton of data, and it all worked out for them. It just worked out for me. It just worked. Well, how, right? It all fits together when you go that route with it, right? You still, notice, if you do a Flyant, if you do a national campaign transition to local clients, you still have to do what? Ideally, still have to do a blitz. Right? Why? Because you're going to pull in more data. It's less important with a national campaign route, but with a Flyant, you don't have enough data. You've got an initial data set, which is good. It's not bad. It's definitely a good start, head start, if you will, but it's just that. It's a head start. It's not it don't get you to the finish line. You know what I mean? You've got to have that blitz. So understand, pitch to close, to wrap that point up. Urgency, reassurance. You got to reassure your clients or potential clients that you know what you're doing. You're in this for the long haul. You're excited about doing business with them, and they're not going to regret it, right? Now, from that, where was I going with that? Next steps, client next steps, close, reassurance. Okay, here's the other thing for you guys. For you guys. What I want you to do, I don't want you to go. I spoke to someone yesterday that went 3 weeks, and it wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened to work out that way. I do weekly calls in the mentorship and all that. They went 3 weeks before jumping on a call with me, and they were at a point of maybe not like complete and total frustration, but they were kind of like, man, feeling down on themselves, not realizing where they were actually at in the process, which is very, very close to getting clients. And that's very good now that they know that, but they went 3 weeks not knowing that. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen for you guys. So what I'm going to encourage you to do as you go through specifically the client acquisition phase, initial client acquisition phase of your business here for both of you, Brandon and Andy, and this is anybody else that's kind of in that stage. I think there's a couple other people out there too that are kind of right here, and that's good. I want you to engage more. I'm going to be more on the lookout for you. I want to see what you're running up against, right? And if you have the numbers, because you're tracking like I taught you to, you're going to be able to support, you're going to be able to post your numbers and be like, these are my numbers. I'm seeing an issue with this. Do you think it's this or this, right? And most times, by the way, you're going to know the answer to your own question, and you're going to want, as far as the problem, but maybe you need more help on how to fix that problem, if that makes sense. Maybe you need more help on how to fix that problem. So it totally depends on the stumbling blocks. Everybody hits them in different places. Some people hit it right out of the gate with a ringless voice message, right? Some people shoot.
So, like, with my mindset, when I'm looking at the numbers, like when you see 100 voice drops, I should get 1 to 3% reply, or 100 manual dials, get 40 or 50. That says to me that I should just be like just cold calling straight without using the dialer, or just want to. What your thoughts on that is? I mean, to me, it seems a better use of my time to just make 50 or 100 calls without the dialer if I'm getting a 40 or 50% answer rate.
Well, you got to remember, if you're not running 100. The time it takes you to do 100 manual dials would probably be about a 3-4 hour session, right? I can do probably about 20 to 30 dials an hour manually. Most people are probably less than that because they're not actually keeping good track of it, but most people average 10, 15. You can get as high as 20 to 30, right? Depending on how long it takes you to pitch and do all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that plays into that. Here's my point. A 4-hour session doing that, yes. At the same time, ringless voicemail, you could have so many delivered within an hour, 2 hours, based on the ports that you set. You'll learn this when you work with Sherry. But basically, you set your port numbers a little bit higher than normal, like 15 to 20, something like that. You're going to have so many people calling in and so many people to follow up with on missed calls, it's not going to matter. Like you see what I'm saying? Like you're going to be able to fill up that entire 4 hours, no problem. Like it's not like you're going to have a ton of downtime. Unless you set your ports to like 5 or something, or 2, then yeah.
Can you explain the ports and stuff, William?
Yeah,
I didn't understand.
Yeah. The ports is how many numbers are dialed out, right? So like for every port, it's like oh shit. See, I always forget this. Dale knows. It's just something that I just asked Dale. It's like I think it's 40 numbers an hour per port. So like if you had 10 ports, it'd be 400 numbers an hour. I think it's 40. It's 20 or 40. I think it's 40. So like 15. Yeah, if you were running 15 ports, you'd have what is that? 600 numbers an hour. 600 voicemails an hour delivered to the deliverables. So and that's not really that much. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but if you're talking 1 to 3%, right? You're talking of people dialing in. You're talking in transfer overs from the voice broadcasting. You're looking at what, 6 to 18, right? I've seen them higher than that. I've seen it 4%, 5%. Call it 1 to 3. Anything 1 to 3, you're good to go. But 6 to 18 people an hour. How many people did I just say you could dial?
30 to 40.
Well, no, 20 to 30, right? Right, 20 to 30 manually an hour. And here's the thing, 20 to 30 manually to get to the people that you can speak to. Remember, not because half of those people are going to answer. If I dial 20 an hour, 10 are going to answer an hour, right?
Right.
And I just told you could have 6 to 18 in an hour answers, not dials, right? At that, so you gotta do the math there and look at it, and that's with 15 ports. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind you could. And that's too many. By the way, that's almost too many people to speak to an hour. You're gonna have some follow up for sure. Like you're gonna have missed calls while you're on the line with somebody else closing up a deal or walking them through the qualified questions. Absolutely, yeah, that will happen. But that's okay. You get a missed call, you call them right back. That's it.
So pretty much, I mean, now having been on this call with you, I feel much more confident, but I'm pretty much at the stage I knew it was at. I've got to go over that thing with backwards editor, and I'll do it tomorrow. I finish my market research tomorrow once I hit my 20 calls, like you said, and then I just start prospecting. And you think it's okay to prospect on a Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday's fine. Saturday's usually. I would probably start like late morning. But yeah, into the early afternoon. That would be when I would schedule my 10 to 2, something like that on a Saturday. Be good. Yeah. But when it comes to the client acquisition stuff, here's what I want you guys to understand. It's a pipeline. It's a sales pipeline. Okay. Andy may understand this more than Brandon or not. It doesn't matter. This is for everybody. So, but for you two specifically, I want you to understand it's a sales pipeline. And at each of these things that we're tracking, right? Each of the dials, the answers, the DMs, all that those are all representative of potential clogged areas of the pipeline, right? So once you've set up in Dollar Central and set up everything ready to go, ready to actually acquire clients, you have built the pipeline, but now you've got to get water through one end to the other, right? To get clients. That's the representative here, or representation. So the clogs, potential clogs, I should say, are dials to answers, decision makers to answers, right? Qualifieds to decision makers, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the close. Now, the person I had on the phone yesterday, while they spent 3 weeks working and not getting a client and feeling bad about it, here's the thing. They had worked all the way to the pitch, meaning all of those clogs may not be fully free because we didn't have the tracking, right? Now they've got the tracking in place, the next time I speak to them, we're going to know exactly if those clogs are completely gone or if they're just partially clogged or what, right? And we're going to fix those things, no problem. But the one thing that's not permanently clogged, fully clogged up right now is the pitch to close. There's no clients coming out the other end, right? But the water has reached all the way to that clog. And that's something you need to understand, is to track the progress. Like, you might even want to draw it out on, not your wall, but like on a piece of paper or something and put it up on your wall so that you can be like, well, that clog may not even be gone completely. Like, you could have room for improvement on the number of dials you make or the number of answers you get. But as long as you're getting answers, that clog is gone. Mark it off, right? And then when you get to your pitches or your qualifies, you've got people qualified and you're pitching people. There's only one clog left, guys. There's only one clog left, and that's how you got to look at it. Because if you're looking at it the entire time as like head down, I talked to people for 4 hours today and I didn't get shit. That's what you're going to project when you're on the call with the next person, right? Like, it's just not going to work. They're going to feel that. They're going to be like, ugh, right? But if you look up once in a while and look at your pipeline, you'll be like, damn, I really am like right there. Fill it up like one of those thermometers. You ever see those like donation goal thermometers?
Yeah.
Make it small so you don't spend a bunch of time filling it in, but make one and do that, because that's gonna make a big difference in how you approach the next call and the next call and even the next day and the next day, right?
Hey, William.
Yes.
I gotta pick up my son.
Okay.
I gotta head out, but man, I really once again want to thank you so much for all your help.
My pleasure, dude. My pleasure.
All the training.
I'm looking forward to seeing results from you guys. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna go right at this. So.
All right. Take care of you, boy, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Okay, bud. Okay, so and that's all I really wanted to say. Actually, that was a good wrap-up point. Just make a pipeline, or make a visual pipeline, Andy and Brandon, when you listen to the recording of this, and do a thermometer kind of goal thing. It really gives you a visual on how far not only you've come, but how close you are to pushing through. And there's by the way, everybody thinks that getting the close is actually more difficult than any of the other clogs. You'd be surprised. Actually, the other clogs, that's why we track everything, it's equally as important. Like you can't get a close if you're not pitching. You can't get a close if you're not getting qualified decision makers. You can't get a close if any of those things, right? So they're all equally important. You have to look at them as part of the pipeline. That just happens to be the last one in the pipeline before the water, which is why people put so much pressure on that one clog. That's all, folks. That's it. Okay? It's that simple. No other way to say it. Track it. Do it visually. It's going to really help you even if you're not visually oriented. It's going to make a difference because you're going to look up and see that and not be near as frustrated as maybe you would be. And if you're not letting 3 weeks go by before we talk about what you're running up against, Andy and Brandon, and anybody else, that's fine. I'm just saying, you guys, because I know you're there, right?
Can I ask you 2 more questions?
Yeah, of course.
So, I'm not. Now I've got this. This is my time. Like from Saturday, I'm going to do it.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Then I'm going to have 2 weeks in my diary. I'm going to take a week off work. I'm going to smash it, right?
Okay.
I'm going to go for no by the end of that week. I'll be pitch perfect. We call it in the UK pitch perfect. You got to get what you said. I've got to get that flow right through to the end. And this is equally as important as the first speak until the close, until I'm coherent. That's where I know I'm going to be there. So, on the blitz method, because I listened to what you said before, I don't want to get one client and have to throw loads of money into the campaign to get it working.
Right.
Clients you think I've got to get to just to get enough data to say I can afford to pull all their money to buy the data, 3, 4, 5, something maybe? Or
the question you trailed off towards the end, you said how many clients do you need to get in order to do what? So
when we spoke last time, you said about the blitz method, yeah, and I said to you
about
getting one.
Andy,
I need to put.
Yeah, Andy, cut to the ending, cut to the punchline. I caught all the beginning. I just need the punchline.
So how many clients do you think I need to get in tow trucks or any vertical,
right,
to get the method working so I can get enough data to optimize the campaign and get results from them? Okay,
I'm not understanding what you're saying. To get the clients to you're going to have to slow it down or reword it.
Okay. So
it's the last half. I got the first half, dude. I'm solid on the first half.
How many clients?
That's the first half. That's the first half.
When I can pull all the money to make. I'm just trying to explain.
When you can pull. Did you say pull all the money?
Pull, but add it all together.
Okay.
So I can get enough. I've got enough money to put all the money back into the campaign to get them a result without me having to put my own money in all the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying. How many clients do you need to get to where you're like at a break even at least of what they put in goes back out and nothing extra?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now I understand. I was like, holy shit, I don't understand what he's asking. Okay, so I would say, and it's going to vary. For your vertical, I would say well, God almighty. I wish I could give you just a flat answer. You know why I can't give you a flat answer? It depends largely on you. Like, and what I mean by that is, if you were to go, let me give you a scenario, and I'll give you a number. Let me just give you the number, and then I'll give you a scenario, okay? Think 10. Okay. Now, that comes with the caveat. Here's the caveat. If you get a client in, or 10 clients in, and you don't optimize the campaigns, right? They're going to just bleed out, just like a hole in a ship, right? Okay. If you optimize the campaigns, in other words, patch the hole in the ship to keep the water from coming in, but you don't do a good enough job at it, water will still come into the ship. That doesn't mean it will sink right away. It just means it's going to be a slow sink. The good news is the data will show you anything and everything you need to know. Okay? The data will show you.
I want to be able to move it forward. I don't want to be getting 2 clients finding, oh man, I've had to sub the campaign $1,000.
I hear you. I hear you. And you saw what I did in the COVID Client Challenge, and also in some of the coaching calls where we went very, very in depth on like keyword research, not just keyword research, but like negatives and all that kind of stuff, right? If you put your focus in on that, once you've got the clients, you immediately shift into managing that. The results across all 10 of your clients are going to instantly be better, because every change you make is not just one change for one client, it's one change for 10 clients, right? And then actually it's more than that, because it's based on how many ever clients you get in that vertical. But currently 10 clients, if that's what you have, it'll be 10 changes for every change. And by every change, I mean, you've seen what I can do with a negative search term that drives negative keywords, right? You've seen what I can do with one search term. You should be able to have that same skill set. And it's not something that is, you got to be me to do. That's not a me thing. I teach that for a living. Like as long as you're asking the same questions I'm asking of myself, when you look at a search term, you will come up with similar answers, if not better. Okay, it's not a question of whether you can or cannot come up with that data out of the gate. It's a learned skill, a learned habit to ask the questions that I ask. Okay. There's no real. At the end of the day, it seems like magic to be like me. It's not. It really is not. I put my pants on the same way you do. I ask myself a lot more questions. I'm more introspective than most. I also learn at a fairly rapid pace. I'll give you that. But I'm also not afraid to click shit and break shit, because I know shit that's broken can be fixed. Maybe that's why I break shit all the time, is because I know it can be fixed, or should be fixed, right? That kind of a thing. So if you move forward into life and your business with that in mind, knowing that, even take the sales process, for example. You're about to go embark on that journey, right? And it's a great journey. It really is. It's fantastically rewarding on the other end, and it can feel absolutely brutal if you're not looking at the overall progress in the middle of the pipeline. You can feel, beat up for sure if you're not paying attention to the details. But that's my point. If you're like me and you're introspective, you're like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm being too hard on myself. It's possible. It's a possibility. Let's take a step back, look up at the pipeline, right? But see, I'm the guy that thinks to draw the pipeline visually, because I know I'm going to need that. I know if it's a multi-step project, I'm going to need some kind of, for me, because I'm a visually based person, I'm going to need some kind of a guide that tells me this shit is done up to here. Because there have been so many times in my life where it's been like, oh man, I'm only 50% done. And then I look at the first 50% and I go, but that 50% is like what most people would take a year to accomplish. And I did that in 3 months or less or whatever. And I'm like, man, I start feeling good. And I'm like, and I only have 50 more left? And the entire thing is done? And it's this and that? And I'm like, oh, and I instantly have a lift and change in state.
That's why I like what you teach. Because like when I watched you do the, I think the Hero Tour, where you went with Jamie.
Yeah.
And that when you was in an Airbnb in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, it was totally mindset. Totally mindset, dude. Yeah.
You're working with, you're bouncing off each other, aren't you? You're working together. You're doing it all day long, and you get good real quick, don't you?
You get good really quick. Yeah.
I don't want to start this and go, I've lost $600. It doesn't work for me. I want to go, okay, I've got to try and get 10 clients, I've got to optimize. Once I get the campaign nailed and dialed, then I'm just going to take that campaign on tour and just hit this, and that gives me the confidence when I talk to new businesses.
Yep. Well, the good news for you is that I've asked you to kind of keep us posted, and I'm going to keep an eye out for it and make sure that we get that covered, because you don't want to be left hanging on common issues that you may, even though they're common, and I've covered a lot of them here, and you have this recording, yes, and everybody else has taken value out of it, yes, but I want to make sure that whatever it is you're running up against, if anything, that you get help with it, because so Yeah, that's man, that's a hell of a lot of information we covered. I expected to cover some good stuff today. I didn't think it was going to be all this, but we've covered, gosh, everything from client acquisition to some of the scaling aspect to campaigns, and that's good.
Am I on the right track here? Tell me if I'm like, oh, you're too far ahead. Am I on the right track in terms of what I'm saying to you? You're thinking, oh, am I doing it right at the moment? You think?
For what? For what you've covered so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're great, man. If I had, you know me, if I have an issue with something, I'm going to speak my mind. You know, if it's a personal thing, I'll say it. If it's a, hey, this is what I would recommend. You know, someone mentioned to me the other day that they wanted to hire a sales staff, and I was like, ooh, it's probably too soon for that. You know, I don't have no qualms about telling you where I think you're at in your business and what that could mean for you if you decide to go ahead and do it anyway, right? So that's why, like, you'll see me get frustrated with people who it's like I've explained something to, and I know they understood me because they repeated it back to me, and they say, I see why you're saying that, and then they go and do it anyway, and it's like, well, what the? It happens, though. For you, I don't think that's going to happen, and if it does, it's definitely not going to be right away. Brandon's probably in the good, too, on that. You guys are working hard. I'm proud of both of you, and not just you guys, other people, too, but you guys are the ones that have come on the call and shared with where you're at. Sorry about the landscapers. They'll be gone. It's Tuesday. Anyway, any other questions you have? I feel like you're great, but
ridiculous. On the client on the site,
okay,
so that bill get the money.
Right.
It says, may not be able to remember this. It says click the button to pay now, and then on the button he says it goes to log in for live calls. And for the life of me, it's like, I'm confused as hell. That I can't see on the screen that Lucy's right. Is it going to like create an account on live calls? Something a screen I've missed.
Oh, the login button at the top right? Yeah, the login button is something you add in to direct over to your white label domain. You just direct that button inside of ClickFunnels over to your white label domain. So abcagency.livecalls.software as an example.
It takes them to the login screen. I couldn't figure that out because they won't be able to log in. It's my login. Oh, I missed that completely.
I don't understand. You couldn't log into your own...
No. What? Okay. This is the site where the client's going to pay the money. Like take the test drive, 10 calls, $300.
Right. Right.
The button on the top right, it goes from I can't see the rest of the screen. It says to take them to my live calls login.
Right.
Got that wrong?
No, that's right. Your main.com where you take the money is also your agency site where they can click the login button to log into their back office. Absolutely.
They won't be able to log in because they haven't created an account. Is there not
a
button for an account?
They won't. No. You don't want to do that. The reason you want to be able to control the creation of the account, right, so that you can have all the right settings and everything. You don't want it to do that. It's there so that they can bookmark the same page that you just sent them to for future reference. Otherwise, they're going to have some long domain that they don't understand, abcagency.livecalls.software. To us, that makes sense. To them, it's like, right? They're not going to want to type that in. But they can remember HVAC repair callusnow.com or whatever, or not callusnow.com, but callsnow.com. They can go to that, see the login button, click on it, and instantly be taken to the back office login screen. That's why it's there. That's why we connect the two. Makes it easier for your client. Have multiple ways to. I mean, they could type their address directly in. But if they don't want to do that or remember that, they could just bookmark that page, the sales page.
One last question, mate.
Shoot.
Right, so in Callzoo, which I know all the agency building part is all true and brilliant. The technical bit, where some of it's like 4 years old now, is it still relevant or not? Because I'm trying not to follow it and trying to stick with what you're showing now.
The agency building, you mean the scaling side?
Yeah, the scaling, all that stuff. I know that's the
a lot of it is still the same. There are some improvements and some updates that have been made. The mentorship has access to that right now, and you guys will in the main ring ads will have access to that training when it's released. There's parts of it where I've covered it basically on calls, and that's not the type of training it's going to be released as. It's going to be released as a very instructional, step-by-step, KPIs, what to expect, all that kind of stuff. Very 1, 2, 3 kind of video, as opposed to a coaching call that I've done for the mentorship. So all the documentation has been updated on that, though, I can tell you that. And there are some things that have changed, but there are many things that haven't. So if you're asking if that stuff still works, it's still very much applicable. It can still work for you, no doubt. And the improvements won't really hold you back that much from what you would have access to in that case, right?
Okay.
So
And
that's
if I with the mentorship, is that got all the technical step-by-step videos in there as well, or is that just like is that like a group coaching, or
well, there's a lot more than just group coaching, right? It's yes, that's part of it. I mean, we have calls every Monday, but we also have training series in that call, where it's not like okay, let me explain. Like the training that's pending right now for the main, it's not like I'm holding that back. Okay, it's not like somebody else has access to it that you don't. Okay, which means because the way the account levels are set, everybody that's in the mentorship, that's just an add-on level. So everybody that's in the mentorship also has access to a main account level like you do, right? If you're not in the mentorship, so when that training is available, it'll be available for everybody, right? The mentorship has its own, like I said, like its own training, but also the one-on-one. Absolutely, yeah, that's part of it. And early on, we covered not just the scaling, but everything, start to finish, soup to nuts. So think like Ring Ads Prime, but not with an actual case study. And now Ring Ads Prime is the version that has the case study, right, version of it or aspect of it, and then you're going to have the instructional 1, 2, 3 aspect of it once that gets loaded into the main side for everybody, no matter what levels they're in. And so that's the difference. And I figured, and then I'm going to go back and revamp the Brandon brought up earlier, the guides were very helpful. Everybody's found them very helpful that's gone through them. That's great. I'm going to go back and revamp them because they were that good. People enjoyed them that much. I'm going to go back and revamp them. So now think about it this way: you're going to have PDF form, right? Your PDF format. You're going to have step 1, 2, 3 instructional video format. Once that's loaded, there's going to be the Ring Ads Prime at least available, right, in terms of the case study version of everything start to finish. And then there's going to be things like the coaching calls inside of like the mentorship. So there's like multiple ways to consume the same content over and over and over again. And I feel like that repetitiveness, some people would call it redundant, but redundant implies unnecessary. To me, it's absolutely necessary to talk about the same numbers, the same metrics, the same processes, the same systems, the same ways to implement them, the same services I use, everything in just different formats. I feel like that's going to really, really help dial people into.
That's all this is about. I mean,
yeah, that's it.
It was just almost in recruitment. All the stuff we talked about, that's all we did all day. We practiced, we went through the pitches, you broke your numbers down, and then eventually you got really good at it, and you could do it in your sleep. You went on holiday for 3 weeks, you come back and you sucked. It took you about a week to get back in the flow.
Yep.
Okay, what time is the calls on a Monday, mate?
Well, the mentorship calls are on 12 Pacific Standard Time. Same time as what we do the 14th and 28th in the main group here. Like right now we're in the main group, 14th and 28th we do 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Monday in the mentorship at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we do those calls. I like to keep it on Mondays because it's the beginning of the week. Kind of lays out, in case anybody had something come up over the weekend. Some people work really hard on the weekends on their campaigns and stuff. And so for them to come in on a Monday, it's like, hey, here's the questions they ask and all that. So yeah. That's I'm a little bit behind on something that, well, a few things, but one thing in particular I wanted to do for you guys. Like, I sent out an email, gosh, a month ago now. That's how far behind I am on that. That I was raising the price of the mentorship to like $19.97, right? And what I realized is that I wanted to do something special for everybody, because there were so many people that were asking me about if they could do it on payments or this and that, and this was before COVID even. And I was like, there's got to be a way I can do that. So I had to do some thinking on it, and it took me some time, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer it on a monthly, but I've got to actually lay the details out and then get that posted and then announce it. So at some point here soon, I would think, since I'm far behind on it now and kind of feel like shit about it, because I do want more people to look at the mentorship, especially for people that are like acquiring the clients and they're like, man, this is great information, but I really wish I had access to that. I just don't have the money to put for it right now. I feel like it'd be great to be able to provide that, right? And do so where it's everybody wins. And so I'll put together. I will put that together and get that out to you guys. It's something I've been meaning to do since I made that first email. That's why I only sent one email, by the way. Normally I would send out several emails saying, "Hey, warning," and warn you all about it, tell you all about it to make sure everybody heard it. But I only sent one email because I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do a monthly. And then I, instead of telling everybody, I just decided I was going to get it done and couldn't make it happen. And here we are a month later. But I will make that happen. I will make that happen for you guys.
I look forward to seeing that, mate, because I think if you do it on a monthly basis, there's something I can probably get involved with,
Yeah. Well, I want you to go and you've got enough right now to go and get your clients. And I feel like once you have that, you're going to be at a stage where the mentorship not only makes sense, but it's a good fit. I'm not saying don't give me your money. I'm just saying, I feel like there's a time and a place, and my whole goal, you remember, well, hopefully you remember, and if you don't, I'll remind everybody on this call, I've always stated that you should be able to get clients and acquire clients long before you ever pay me the entrance fees to the mentorship. Yeah. And I say that because the mentorship's probably not the end all be all, right? I would say it's definitely up there, but there's going to be more programs. There's going to be more offerings for sure. You're not going to hear from me every day or every week, like some people. I get that, but on the same on the other side of that coin, you have to have things to keep you competitive, right? And some of those things are going to cost money. But I wanted to structure things in such a way, starting out, you have very, very little investment to get going and make something happen. That's what, in my mind, that's what I've always envisioned creating, is something that for very little investment up front, you can start with and grow with me. You guys know me well enough to know by now that's what I look for. I look for how do we grow together and have the same concept I just explained earlier about how you should be with your clients. Like, that's exactly how I view you guys and what we should be doing together. So that's why you don't see like super high price out of the gate. Not that I couldn't do that. I'm sure I can and have done it before. But the thing is, doing that, there's something missing in the initial relationship part that doesn't develop the way it would if we grew together from the bootstrap level. That's when things really, if you need further proof, look at the interactions. Look at the interactions you and I have. Look at the interactions Brandon and I have. Right. That started at the grassroots level, at the very base level, not at a higher end level. And I'm not saying that all of my higher end guys and gals don't have that kind of interaction with me. Some of them still do, but very few. Whereas most of the people that started grassroots or bootstrap level, almost every one of them have that kind of a relationship with me where we can pick up right where we left off and what do you need, and here it is, and let's go get it, right? That's what we're looking for. right, and ring in. So
I mean,
good on you, dude. I'm very pleased with your results. Very pleased.
Thank you. I mean, I know I've taken a lot of your time. And I
That's
appreciate it
okay.
So much. I knew, but now I haven't been this call with you. What I've got to do, I knew what I had to do anyway. But before this call, I was very uncertain and unconfident. Am I doing it right? Now I've got a whole, you can't see. I've got a whole page of notes here.
Sometimes that's the difference. Sometimes that's the difference. I get that. That's why I do these calls, is because if I don't, then you don't have what you felt you needed. And sometimes you actually didn't need anything other than just confirmation.
Well, if you check my posts in the group, from each calling session, I'm going to start posting my results.
Okay.
You know, my dials, answers, qualified pitches, closes. You know.
Yeah, I've been updating. I've been approving the posts on a more consistent basis every few days or so. So I'll go in there and check more often. I'll check more often and make sure that those are approved and everything, and respond to them. Of course, anytime I approve something, I'm going to respond to it right away. That's why they're pending, because I haven't responded to them yet. But yeah, for the AdWords editor, you know what to do. Client acquisition. Is there anything else you need help with?
No, mate, I'm good. I'm actually very good now. I know exactly what I've got to do. Exactly.
Okay, good. Well, then you can sleep easy tonight and be excited tomorrow morning when you wake up.
Yeah, I won't be able to sleep for a few hours yet, but yes, that's 10 to 11 there. But yeah, I really appreciate it, mate. I really do.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. You guys show me the results and work that you do, and that's my thank you. That I really mean that. Like that, when I see that makes me want to help you even more. So you share with me, keep me posted.
Next conversations will be, you know, worst case it would be, yeah, I've done 4 hours, I didn't get results, and I'll just be going through the pipeline. It's like, yeah, it's a block point.
It's going to be more specific than that, actually. It's going to be, I went 4 hours, here's my numbers, right? The absolute worst case would be you don't track anything, right?
No, I'm going to track everything.
You got to track it, because I'm telling you, without tracking, I can't help. So if I'm telling you straight up before you even start, if you want my help, not that I'm unwilling to give it, I can't possibly. There's no possible way to quantify on no data, you know. But if you give me data, I'm going to help you decipher what the problem is, and we're going to fix it together.
Once I've got my feet wet in this, and I've done a couple of 4 or 5 hour sessions, or maybe 2 or 3, I'm then going to take a week off. I'm going to do 4 hours a day for 6 days, and then at the end of that time, then I'll be like, in my mind, I'll be at a place where I'm pitched. I won't say perfect, but
what I would do is take do a few sessions, iron out any kind of like even partial clogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get them completely cleaned out, and then, you know, when you're super tuned, dialed in, take your 6 days and maximize the shit out of it.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Probably about 3 weeks time, and I'll probably do 5 hours a day. I'll do 30 hours, but at the end of that week, I have some paying customers, if not beforehand.
Oh no. You're gonna no. Before you take that week, you're gonna have paying customers. That's my point. Like, we get you to the point where you're dialed in to the point of doing at least 1 in 5, and you go and you spend 30 hours doing 1 in 5. You're gonna pull 15, 20, 30 clients in a week. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to pull in so many clients, you're going to be worried about not having enough time to complete the full setup for them in time. That's a good problem to have, right? And realistically, you could probably do about 20 in a week, right? Okay. Being a one-man band, if you had time off from work, I'm saying. So no job, 20 in a week you could do, right? 30, you'd really be stressing yourself out, but you could get it done. And you'd be tired, and you'd be going right back to work. So you may need a couple of days of downtime while you're working, but after work, downtime for a couple of days, because that's a lot.
I'm smiling now, mate, because now I'm thinking 10 or 15 clients in that week. 2, 3, 4 before I start. That's 20 clients. That's me, full-time agency owner.
Listen, I've seen people do 5 clients in a day. I've done 7 in a day. I've seen people do 7 in a day. I've seen people do 30 in a month. I've seen all kinds of numbers all over the place. I've seen people do absolutely jack shit, and then I've seen people do 30 in a month, one a day. I've seen anything and experienced anything and everything in between, right? From 0 to one a day, 2 a day, 3 a day. It's totally up to you. But that's why I say if you take a few sessions, engage with me, we'll get you dialed in, and then you take your week, man, you know what I mean? You're gonna blow up quick.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have all kinds of new problems, which are not bad. They're exactly what we expect, right? It's going to be on the optimization, which is going to be your ad copy, your negative keywords, your new keyword ideas, all that kind of shit. And then, yeah, it's simple stuff actually. Now that we've already covered all that, so and then anytime we need, we can cover it again, right? Like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for sure.
It is. I'm gonna. Listen, mate, I'm actually really pumped now. This is happening. So I've written everything down as well. I was being quiet. I was writing all the down because not only what you said, but the bits I had to link it in my mind to make a bridge to the next step. That's how I work. Pretty much a systematized guy, even though I can be slack.
Good.
Now I'm getting it. I'm at the stage of just hitting the clients up, getting my numbers dialed in, getting myself confident, sounding good on the phone, getting a couple of 2-3 customers, and then bang, I take a week off work and I do 30 hours or more.
Yeah, that is. And by the way, you're not the first person that I've worked with on unique scheduling, right? There, you know, when I transitioned from the military to life insurance again. This is when I jumped out. I first jumped out of the military. I jumped back into life insurance, and when I did that, I had vacation time built up in the military. And it was a bit flexible for me to where I could spend it however I wanted to. And so I spent it on driving days closer together. Like if I knew I had the weekend off, I would take a Thursday, Friday off, and then it would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd have 96 hours.
Exactly what I'm going to do.
Right. It makes a big difference.
I cover 4 postcodes or zip codes. I cover like the county of Kent. And I've got 2 that I get make quite a lot of money in, but it takes me like it's a 12-13 hour day non-stop. And once I get this another level, I'm ditching them 2 postcodes. I'm going to give them to a different rep, and I'm just doing the postcodes I live in, which are near to me. I can do that. I can do enough money to pay all my bills in 2.5 days a week. Then that will give me 2.5 days plus a Saturday to do the agency stuff. And
I'm telling you, when you can group days together. Not all the time, mind you, but like when you can do those little sprints or little blitzes like that, and make it a game of like, okay, you know, I'm doing twice a week, and then coming up though this month, you know, if you could work one in like once a month or work one in once every couple of months even, you'd be able to really gear up and plan for that blitz while still doing your 2 days a week. You'll still see results. But then when you hit the blitz, man, you're going to hit it with so much fire and everything you got, because you know that's all you got till it's back to work and back to the norm. And I'm telling you, it's not going to take many clients of doing that. If for you, it may just be the one. May just be the one blitz. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. But I'll tell you this, it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be forever. And that means if you go after it like you've been, not like you're going to do, but like you've been doing it, with everything you've gotten accomplished to this point, you're going to see the results you want to see. It's just a matter of when. That's it.
You know, just talking to you give me so much confidence, because I've got some mates that are in sales, and they say, "What are you doing? When's it going to happen?" I said, "What I've told you I'm going to do, you told me it's right, not because I think it's right, because I'm listening to you. But now you tell me, I know I'm on the right path, and now I've just got to do it. That's it, and I know exactly what I've got to do."
Well, I think
spent £120 on a Bluetooth headset.
I think part of what helps you too. Let's be 100% transparent. I think part of what helps you is that you've actually seen me do this shit too, not just talk about it. I think that's part of it, and you're going to continue to see me do that. That's a promise. I promise you, I will update those things. But the idea is, it's not just hearing the teacher or seeing the teacher, like that's college.
Yeah.
Right. It's field experience, watching the teacher actually, or instructor in this case, do, and you mirror it, or you follow it, and that makes a huge difference. It really does. It increases success rates across the board. It decreases your learning curve and your time involved to actually learning the business when you have someone teaching, the same person actually teaching you, and then also showing you as he's doing what he's teaching you to do. So I think that makes a big difference.
On the Kovic challenge, and I was up to like 3:30 some mornings here. Except one of the sessions was about 7.5 hours. Like, when you wasn't picking up dialer, I was dying with frustration with you. I was dying when you couldn't get the dialer. I was like, no.
Yeah, and the thing is I've got everything. Yeah, I've got everything set now to where I can actually take the phone calls. So from the cell phone. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go with that. And I will be posting updates on that just to show people. Okay, here's what it actually would look like on a cell phone or direct to a Skype line or something. And then, of course, it also showed us room for. I'm grateful for it because it shows us room for improvements on the dial pad for the software, even though it's not intended to use that way and it functions just fine. It would be nice if it did function that way, because how cool would that be, right? I don't know. I just find that kind of cool. So that's on the list. What's that?
In sales, I sold life insurance, right?
Uh-huh.
Like you did. You know what they used to do to us when we first started?
What's that?
I used to work in a sales with about 100 or more guys. Well, actually, there's about 201 floors on. It was just like it was a boiler room in London. And they would tape the telephone to your head with gaffer tape if you wasn't on the phone enough. I mean, literally, physically tape it to your head. And they should take your chairs away every morning. So at 8:30, they would take your chairs away, and you could not sit down until you got an appointment.
Oh wow!
Some days you'd be calling for like 6 and 7 hours. And it got really good quickly because it was so horrible standing up for like 5 and 6 hours. You would do anything to get an appointment and to get your chair back and sit down. At the end of the day, you're still standing, mate. It sucks. So what you're teaching here is like so easy in comparison.
Do you have you ever seen Pursuit of Happiness with
Yes.
Will Smith? Okay, that's based on a true story. Like, that guy actually did all that and exists. Okay, so here's the thing. You remember the part where he those old plastic phones? They probably still have them these days in corporate offices. Remember how he said he used to never set his down? He would just keep it there and hit the receiver.
He didn't drink water.
That's the kind of fire. You can't obviously do that with a cell phone, right? But that's the kind of fire that you got to have. That things like ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, the email templates, those are the things that drive the phone calls in to where it's the equivalent of doing that instead of having to hang up every time. And if you go after it, you're going to see the results from it. There's no doubt in my mind. And here's what's funny. Remember how he said he felt like he totally failed, couldn't believe it, he didn't even come close, and he happened to be the shining star way out in front of everyone.
Yeah.
But he had no point of reference. You see what I'm saying? No frame of reference, none whatsoever. No. I want to make sure that you have that frame of reference. That's why I told you about the pipeline and everything. Yeah. I want to give you that frame of reference, because if I can do that, which I can, then you won't have to feel like a failure when you're actually succeeding. That's the worst. You know what's worse than being a failure, like actually failing at something, is winning at something and thinking you're failing at it. That's the absolute worst. That's worse.
That's why I said to you about what they used to do to us when we first started out. You had no idea what you was doing. You never know what you're going to get paid to 2 months later.
No frame.
Kind of instant money, bang. I get something for $300. The next month they're paying me $2,500 or $3,000. You know, I mean, on my market research, I've already spoken to one guy that's got 9 trucks. 9. I mean, if I could, I'm not saying I will, but if I can get one of them every 3 months, Christ, that's a big client.
Oh yeah, that's a decent sized client for you. Absolutely, it is. That's a money client for sure. Yeah. All right, my man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, I'll let you go, mate. It's so good talking to you.
You too, bud. Good catching up. Glad you came on. Keep working hard. Hey, keep working hard. That's I'm proud of you for that. Keep doing your thing.
Definitely. God bless, mate. Thank you.
You too, bud.
Cheers,
all right.
Bye.
All right, let's see. Do we have anybody else on, or is that Andy's 2 accounts? I think that's Andy's 2 accounts, right?
That's me. That's me
Okay.
on my Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to look through the comments. If you guys, let's make this the last call. We've been on for a few hours, which I don't mind at all. I just want to make sure that we're respectful of everybody's time, because a lot of people are like, oh, shit, 3 hours. So, no, it's not your fault. I just want to make sure that we address everybody's questions and concerns. And if you want to come on the Zoom, that's fine. Come on now. Now's your last call. There's a link at the top in the comment section. You can click on that, come right into the room, which is where Andy and Brandon were. I saw someone in here, Douglas. Douglas was in there. I don't know what happened to Doug, but maybe we lost him. He kind of bounced out. And somebody else, I missed that person as well. I did not see them, who they were. But if you want to come in and say hello or ask questions, more than welcome. I'm going to look through the comments here. You can also post questions in the comments, of the Facebook live stream. If you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those. Let's see. Just Brandon finding the Zoom link. The leaf blower is back. Yes, Tuesdays, landscapers. Yeah, that's the deal there. Not seeing anything else. Okay, so we'll just hang out for just a few seconds or a few minutes and see if anybody's got anything. Take some time to take a drink here. Throat's getting dry. Okay. Good call today too. That was good.
Awesome call, mate.
Yeah, not seeing anything in the comments. Nobody's in the room. Okay. Hey, no pressure, folks. Listen, I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, and as many calls as I can remember to. Not everybody feels comfortable coming on live. I get that. You may even have reservations initially. I'm not going to rip your head off. I explained the whole frustration part. It's actually not directed towards anybody unless I do direct it towards you. You'll know it, right? And Andy.
Yeah, I'm still here, mate.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
That's okay. I'm going to put you on mute, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's when it comes to coming on the call, I'm not going to rip your head off, even if you do something that I've advised against. I might be frustrated about that, but only because I know the results it's going to deliver, right? Or the lack of results. And that's probably why you're on the call asking questions like that. And I'm talking to everybody here, right? It's an everybody thing. But that's no reason to not come on the call and to engage with me. If you notice, guys like Brandon, guys like Andy, the reason they're having the results is actually not just because they're working hard. It's also because they've chosen to engage. You know, Andy engaged with me back when we started. Actually, Brandon too. When we started the COVID Client Challenge, and I'm not saying that it's too little, too late or anything, but that's what these calls are for. So I highly encourage you to engage with us, ask the questions. Sometimes it's tough. I get that. But you know what? You're in good hands. I'm not going to let you down, and I'm certainly not going to beat the shit out of you. I don't believe in that. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't mean I won't get frustrated. I will, but I'll calm down, and we'll get through it. We'll figure the answers, and we'll make shit happen together. That's the whole point of what we do. And I think you'd much rather me be human than a robot, right? Okay, so that said, highly encourage you to come on to the calls. Highly encourage you to post and engage with the group. Share your results. Share the problems that you're having with implementing something, understanding something, anything, right? It could be anything, whatever it is that's holding you back from getting, keep in mind, holding you back from getting done what you need to get done, right? That's the key. You keep pushing forward on those things, and you're going to be in a place very, very soon where, very similar to if you're starting out from the beginning, where Brandon's at, where Andy's at, and wait and see where they're at in a couple of weeks, right? That's going to be some exciting shit for them. I know that, and you're going to see them pop, and you're gonna. There's not going to be any surprise as to why they popped, and meaning blew up, because they put in the work, they paid their dues, and we're not talking about like hard labor at Mississippi State Prison. You know what I mean? We're not talking about breaking rocks over, breaking big rocks into little rocks. Not hard labor here. It does take work, mind you, but not like a significant amount compared to the returns that you're going to see. And I think that's and not just long term, but short term as well. It's super important for you to know that and know that going in. And yeah, all right. So take that for what it's worth. I'm not seeing anything in the comments. No one else has come into the Zoom room. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bounce. So let's do this. Let's bounce out of here. Let's call it a good call. And I'm very happy with the call. I think that was one of the better calls we've done in a while. Not that the others were bad, but this one was especially good. So happy to see that. Happy to see everybody keeping at it. No matter where you're at in this business model, keep at it. Keep engaged with us. Keep at it. Work on the next step. Focus on that. And I promise you, you will get there. You will get to the promised land. It will not take you that long. And you'll be very grateful and happy that you decided to go when you decided to go. And I'm grateful and happy to be here to serve you guys to do that, guys and gals, to do that. So that said, let's bounce out of here. I'll catch you guys and gals on the 28th. We're on the 14th today. I had to look at the calendar. The 28th. So the 28th of July at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be here with the bells on. So you be as well, and we'll make shit happen together. All right, folks. I'll catch you then. Bye for now.